San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? And a happy Tuesday to everybody out there in America's finest city. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Coming off of not a Padres game yesterday. Padres had the day off. They'll be getting ready to take on the Colorado Rockies for 3 starting tonight at 5:40. It'll be 5:40 the next 2 days, and then it will be a 12:10 start on Thursday? I think a 12:10 start on Thursday. How about that? It's a little bit earlier of a day game on Thursday before the Padres have Friday off, and then they'll be down in Mexico City to take on the Arizona Diamondbacks for 2. It'll be the first look that they will have at the streaking Diamondbacks that are right there on their tail in the National League West standings. Taking a look at where everything's at in Major League Baseball. Padres sit there with the second most wins in the National League, which gives you the second most wins in all of Major League Baseball because, I don't know, the National League's better than everybody else. Did you see that graphic the other day? It might have been last night.
Yes, I did.
There are more teams with a winning record in the National League Central than in all of the American League, period. I'm going to say that again. There are more teams with a winning record in the National League Central than there are in the entire American League. Not the American League Central, the entire American League. There are only 4 teams in the American League yesterday that had a winning record. That's now changed because the A's won. So now there's 5. So now there's just this same amount of teams in the National League Central with a winning record as there are in the entire American League. Frank, can you name me the 5 teams in the American League that have a winning record?
I would assume the division leaders. So it'd be the Yankees.
Yep.
Guardians.
Yep.
Tigers.
Tigers also, but they're not a division leader.
No, I know they're not a division leader.
But yes, they're also on there. You're missing 2
Texas.
more. No, they're 500.
Who the heck is leading it? Who the heck is leading the division then?
In the American League West?
Yeah.
That ain't the Rangers. We know it's not the Astros.
No, it's not Seattle either.
It's not Seattle.
Angels are 500, just below.
They're below 500.
Is it really the A's?
It's the A's.
Wow.
Los Oclamento A's won last night. They're now 12-11.
Wow.
They got a winning record. You're missing 1 team. American
Baltimore?
League East. Nope, not Baltimore. They're a game under.
The Tampa then.
Tampa. Tampa's 12-10.
Son of a gun.
How about that? How did the Marchese family enjoy lasagna and NHL playoffs? Did you watch any of the NHL playoffs?
Very much so. I enjoyed both. Got to see a couple of the games. I was half paying attention to the games though.
I was watching in between softball, so that was difficult because I was trying to flip TVs at the Poway Sportsplex to where the Ducks were playing. Tough loss last night for the Ducks. They almost were able to steal one in Edmonton. They scored 3 goals in the second period, took a 3-2 lead, and then gave up 2 goals late. They just got to win. But again, when you're a road team in the playoffs, you got to win 1 out of the 2, and you can feel a little bit better about yourself coming back to Anaheim or coming back to your home ice. So we'll see how they do on Wednesday. But they changed, Frank. They changed the TV channel for the Ducks game like 4 times.
What?
It was supposed to be on ESPN2, but I think it was Carolina. Who was Carolina playing?
Ottawa.
That game was running late, so they moved it. They got bumped to ESPNU.
As you do.
And then
ESPNU?
They got bumped to ESPNU, so they started on ESPNU, and then they jumped back to ESPN2, and then they booted them again because of some other game that they wanted to have on ESPN2, so they moved them back to ESPNU, and then one more time, they moved them again back to ESPN2 at a different spot. I was like, I'm not going to tell the guy at the Sportsplex to constantly be changing the channel, so I had it on my phone, and it just was bouncing back and forth all day.
If I'm the NHL, I'm losing my mind. That you're bumping.
You were losing your mind. I was losing my mind trying to follow a playoff game.
You're bumping an NHL playoff game to ESPNU. First of all, for what? Draft coverage on ESPN and some.
No, they had other games on. I think I don't know. Well, maybe they didn't have anything on ESPN yesterday. But if you look at the breakdown from yesterday, they were bumping all over the place. Ducks were supposed to be on ESPN2, but unfortunately, Senators and Hurricanes got put into two overtimes.
That's understandable.
So they kept bumping them back and forth. So they put them on ESPNU, and then when the Senators and the Hurricanes were at intermissions, they bumped the Ducks and Oilers back to ESPN2, and then they would bump them back to ESPNU, and then the Senators-Hurricanes game finally ended, and they put them back on ESPN2.
Why wouldn't... Okay. You know what makes that look so much better on ESPN if they simulcast it to ESPN2 and U at the same time?
I know.
So this way you don't have people jumping back and forth, because after the third time I'm like, forget it. I'm not watching this anymore.
Right. Absolutely. I watched Victory Plus for all the regular Ducks games. I didn't want to download it to my phone. It's on my smart TV somewhere. And you know what I'm not going to be able to do? Because somebody offered that in chat. I'm not going to, they don't have that. I was at the mercy of the Poway Sportsplex. So can't really say I was going to be able to do that much.
And by the way, for those of you who want to watch Ducks games and not have to deal with nonsense like that,
Victory Plus
will still broadcast the games for the first round. The local broadcasters still go through the first round of the playoffs. It's after the first round that they're all done.
Not only can you watch the Ducks, you can watch all the Stars games on there. I'm pretty sure the Rangers play on there too. It's all free.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, if you want to watch all the Dallas teams on there too, they're part of Victory Plus. You can watch all their games for free also. So I was doing that last night, watching some hockey. Tough loss last night for the Ducks. They lose game 1 to Edmonton, but that's not where I wanted to start the show. I want to start the show with, we got a call yesterday about it. I just saw him up there on MLB Network when it came to best OPSs for visiting teams at Nats Park. They're talking about Matt Olson, but Manny Machado was on that list. I kind of want to start the show with Manny Machado. I heard, we hear this every single April. Do we not? Every single April. And San Diego, I've heard enough already this April. I've heard enough about Manny Machado's slow start. It's some kind of crisis. This isn't new. This is new information. We haven't seen this movie before because, frankly, we have. And not just once, but multiple times. Not once, not twice. This is the Manny Machado experience, if you will, every single year. There's been a couple of outliers mixed in, but let's ground this in reality. We're sitting here in April. Everybody's watching batting average like it's a stock market, and Manny's number early, yeah. Don't blow you away, his numbers. We've seen 230s, 250s, and even worse stretches in April. And this year, kind of the same story. Slower out of the gate, not driving the ball consistently, some swing and miss, a little frustration. And what happens? Well, we get people that start to panic. But if you actually follow the track record, if you actually look at the Padres years, 2019 through now, for Manny Machado, it tells you something very clear. It's not really a red flag that Manny is struggling in the first couple of months. It's relatively a pattern. I mean, go year by year. 2019, first full year in San Diego. April, not great. He ended the year with 32 home runs. 2021, same thing. April OPS, barely over 700. He finished with 28 homers in an all-star season. 2022, slow again. And then suddenly he's an MVP candidate, finishes second in the National League. Even a couple of years ago in 2024, people had questions early. He still ends up with 29 home runs and over 100 RBIs. Again, this isn't random occurrences. This is just who Manny Machado is as a hitter. He's not a hot out of the gate guy. He's a rhythm hitter. He builds timing, he adjusts, he calibrates. And once that clicks, he goes on absolute tears. And here's where people get it twisted. They look at April numbers and assume they're predictive. They're not. For Manny, April is the feeling out process. It's him figuring out velocity, breaking stuff, sequencing how pitchers are attacking him that year. Because guess what? He's not the same hitter he was in Baltimore. He's not even the same hitter he was in the first year with the Padres. He's a different hitter now. He's an evolved hitter. And if you want proof that this is bigger than just San Diego, go back to his Baltimore days. Same thing. Slow starts, big finishes. This is a decade-plus trend. So if you're expecting him to suddenly be a 330 hitter in April, you're just not paying attention to what Manny Machado has done. Now, here's why I'm actually optimistic right now, because of what's coming next. Altitude. Got a trip coming up to Colorado. Play them tonight. You got games coming up in Mexico City. And if there's one thing that can jumpstart a hitter, it's thin air. Let's talk about Coors Field. Manny Machado at Coors Field in his career, we're talking about a guy hitting over 300. OPS pushing 900. Slugging over 500. He sees the ball better there. The ball carries. Mistakes don't just get hit, they get punished. And it's not just about the numbers, it's about feel. Hitters will tell you this all the time. You go into a place like Coors, you square one up, it goes 420 feet instead of getting caught at the track. That changes your confidence. That changes your swing. That changes everything. And then Mexico City, even higher altitude. We saw what happened the last time the Padres went there. And we've seen it the last couple times teams have gone to Mexico City. Balls are flying out of the ballpark. Pitchers hate it. Hitters love it. And if you're a guy like Manny Machado who is just waiting for that timing to lock in, this could be the spark that Manny needs. So instead of just panicking about April, I'm looking at the calendar. I'm looking at the environments he's about to hit in, and I'm saying this is lining up perfectly for him to flip the switch, to feel comfortable, to get the timing down, to get the confidence of a couple of good swings, and to get back onto his usual track in the next couple months leading up. Because when Manny Machado gets hot, he doesn't just get better, he carries the lineup. And let's not ignore the context of this team. The Padres are winning games right now, and they're stacking wins. They're getting production up and down the lineup, which means Manny doesn't have to force it. He doesn't have to press. He can let the game come to him. And that's when he's at his best. This is the dangerous version of Manny Machado. Not the guy trying to hit 5 home runs in April. The guy who stays patient, trusts the process, and then explodes in May, June, July. So if you're worried, history says don't be. If you're frustrated, I get it, but you shouldn't be surprised. Because the reality is this. The slow start isn't the exception. It's the setup. And if the past decade has taught us anything about Manny Machado, it's that once the weather heats up, once the swing locks in, once he gets that one series, maybe in Colorado, maybe in Mexico City, where everything starts clicking, you're going to look up in July and he's going to have 18 to 20 homers. He's going to be driving in runs. And everyone who panicked in April is going to pretend they saw it coming. I'll say it now. Manny Machado is fine. More than fine. He's actually where he always is this time of year. And if you're the rest of the National League, that's actually the scary part. Because Manny Machado hasn't even gotten going yet. And the Padres are already winning games. That should tell you everything about the situation with Manny Machado. I didn't want to spend too much time on it. I think we're going to see some different stats, if you will, with Manny Machado. But Frank, I look at the way that Manny starts seasons. I look at the way that his numbers always jump when it comes to May and June, and it starts to warm up and he starts to play a lot better. I think the track record shows, Frank, that you give Manny Machado the first couple months to figure it out, because he has shown time and time again that he's able to do it.
I don't know how many more times we have to go over this. He always has slow Aprils. That's always the case. Last year was a career anomaly for him, and you see what he does throughout the rest of the year. This is not hard to figure out, but yet we go through this every single season like it's something new.
I know.
It's not.
It's the same all the time with him. It's always the early part of the season. That's why I'm not really worried about it. If he continues this through May, you can only say it's early so long. I think we've already mentioned that. But his career numbers in April are the almost worst of his career. May, he gets a little bit better in some aspects, not all the time. And then June is where he heats up, and June is usually the month he is at his best. His career numbers in June, 299 batting average with an 860 OPS. And then he heats up even more in July with an 867 career OPS. So for everybody that likes to complain about the Stars not starring, and I have to say, the Stars have had they've found situations in which they have not had great years, right? And they have put together bad numbers. But if you look at what Manny has done in April and then see what he's done in May and June, a lot of this starts to, you'll feel comfortable very quickly about a lot of these numbers that are put up. I mean, if you look at 2022, 2021, where he was off to a slow start, he was able to bounce back out of that pretty quickly and get his way out of what has been kind of trouble in the first couple months. And that's every year for him. I mean, there's been a couple of anomalies, 2016, he hit 344 in April, had a great year. But, this year he's hitting $186. He hit 250 in 2024. He hit 236, in 2023. He hit 240 in 2021. He hit 236 in 2019. He gets off to slow starts. Sometimes every once in a while, he'll take over. Like 2022, he had a monster year in the first year or in the first month. But other than that, the last couple of years, especially in a Padres uniform, like his first year here in San Diego, he had a 693 OPS in the month of April. And he was hitting 223. In the month of May, he jumped up to 283 and had an 850 OPS. Like, he's done it before. He's got the track record. That's why you can't really freak out about him. That's why we have to say it all the time. It's like, he's got the track record. He's got to figure it out. We're just getting started here on the Braden Surprenant Show. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973 if you want to join the conversation today. We got a starter tonight that has been on an electric start to the season. His name is Randy Vasquez. We're going to talk more about him when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. Setting Summer Sports Station, 97.3 The Fan. The NFL draft is almost here, and this year feels very different. There's no clear superstar at the top, but there's depth everywhere, which means the real winners won't be the teams picking early. It'll be the ones finding steals in rounds 2 and 3. Watch for names like Caden McDonald. He could be the first defensive tackle off the board, and Caleb Downs, who could go top 5 or fall out of the top 10 completely. And don't be surprised if we see a ton of trades, maybe 5, 6, even 8 in the first round alone. This isn't a flashy draft. It's a smart team's draft. So the question is, does your team trust its scouting, or are they about to reach? All right, we're officially inside of 1 week until the 2026 NFL draft. And if you're expecting a flashy headline-driven class at the top, this might not be that year. But don't get it twisted. This draft is going to matter a lot, because what we're hearing from around the league right now is simple. This is a depth draft, not a star-powered draft, and that completely changes how teams approach Thursday night. And Frank, I've talked about this before. Adam Klug's talked about this. Everybody that watches the NFL knows this is not a big draft. It's not like a big storyline draft. It doesn't have too much juice to it. Yes, it will be an NFL draft. Yes, NFL fans are going to be excited to see what their teams get. Yes, college fans are going to like to see where their players end up getting drafted. But overall, not a lot of hype around this year's draft.
No, there's really not. There's no unanimous number one type buzz. No generational quarterback dominating the conversation. Instead, you have front offices looking at a board where the talent from pick 10 to 50 really isn't all that different. And when that happens, two things follow. Usually trades really go up and mistakes also really go up. When you're we're already hearing that there could be anywhere from 5 to 8 trades in the first round alone. And with teams like the Cardinals and Browns potentially looking to move back, while the Cowboys and Jets could be looking to try to move up to grab value before it disappears. So don't expect a quiet draft night, because it could be very, very chaotic in Pittsburgh.
The real value in this class is day 2, rounds 2 and 3, and that's where scouts believe you find starters and maybe even stars. Keep an eye on names like Chris Bell out of Louisville, Avion Terrell out of Clemson, and D'Angelo Pounds out of Indiana. These are the types of players that might not go round 1, but could end up bidding better than half the guys who do. And we see this every year. Teams that draft well on day 2 are usually the ones playing deep into January because they're loading up on depth. You can find a lot of depth guys in the middle of a lot of different drafts. And you also want to look at linebackers, DB types, running back types. These are the ones not only that fill out your roster, but also help you a lot with special teams. You can find a lot of those players in the middle rounds, the non-sexy picks, if you will, that nobody likes seeing go in the first round. I like being able to draft guys like that a little bit more so, and always draft best available. Otherwise, you're getting into a jam. The teams that usually run into the biggest mistakes are the ones that look, oh, we got to get a receiver playmaker, because that wins the press conference, but that doesn't win you a lot of games. The biggest weakness, though, in the draft, defensive tackle, and that's an area that a lot of teams need.
Yeah, there's no dominant can't-miss interior guy this year, but one name continues to come up as the safest bet to go in the first round. That's Caden McDonald. He's not flashy. He's not a pass rush monster, but he's a true run stuffer. And in today's NFL, that still has value. He could sneak into the back end of the first round, or at worst, go early in the second round. And that's part of the reason why you saw the Cincinnati Bengals going after a guy like Dexter Lawrence from the New York Giants last week, was to try to fill that void that they know they're not going to be able to get during the draft.
Players with there's a lot of players that have wild ranges, because that's just how unpredictable this draft's going to be. And this is where things get even more unpredictable. Take Caleb Downs, for example. He can go as high as number 5 in the draft. He can also slide outside the top 10, depending how the big board breaks. Then there's Jordan Tyson. Talent-wise, he's a top 15 player, but he's got injury concerns, and that could push him into the second round. Kenyon Sadiq feels like one of the safer bets, a mid-first round tight end in a class that doesn't have much depth at that position. So you've got a lot of volatility, and that's what makes this draft very fascinating. So a few teams to really keep an eye on. Your New York Giants at number 5, Frank.
Yeah, they'd love to track back, but if they stay, Caleb Downs is very much in play, and they also have the number 10 now after trading Dexter Lawrence. The Pittsburgh Steelers are at number 21. No clear direction. They still don't know who their quarterback is. They filled needs in free agency, so this could be a true best player available pick for the Steelers. And the Philadelphia Eagles coming in at number 23. Don't be surprised if they go back to the trenches. Offensive line is very, very much on their radar, especially at the back end of the first round.
Never have too many linemen, man. You always got to load up on the linemen. So this draft is less about hitting a home run at the top and more about stacking quality across. 10:23 on a Tuesday. I hate losing stuff. It drives me nuts. I've done this before. I lost my ID, which is such a pain. Such a pain. It's probably somewhere in my whatever. I was trying to trace my steps. Mm-hmm. And I have it in a part of my wallet that I only use to access work, like our key card. And I didn't use the key card yesterday because I walked up with Frank. Frank used the key card yesterday. So I haven't used the key card since Friday. But I had my ID over the weekend. I had to use it over the weekend. I might know where it is now. That's the last time I had to use my ID. I might know where it is, which works out because that happens when you already sign up immediately to get your replacement you will immediately find your other one. I know exactly where it is now. I'm glad I did that. I was really bringing this up to make fun of Adam because I said, like, I've lost my ID. It's not in my wallet. And he responded with, why don't you just put your ID in your wallet? I do. It's not there. Hence the problem that we have of me not having my ID because it's not in my wallet.
Are you raising your voice at me?
I don't think he heard me the first time. I literally felt like, oh, what's that evil character from SpongeBob?
Plankton?
No, the guy that they defrosted Mermaid Man and
Man
Barnacle
Ray?
Boy. Yeah, Man Ray, where he's got Patrick's wallet. This is your wallet. No, it's not. Is this your ID? Yeah. It found it in your wallet. Yeah. So that would assume that would make this your wallet.
Makes sense to me.
So take it.
It's not my wallet.
I think me and you are the only ones that thought that was funny. You know what? How old are you, Frank? 32? 31?
33.
33. I'm 31. There's got to be some 30-something-year-olds driving around that think SpongeBob jokes are funny, but it's not my wallet. That show's got so many good ones. It's got so many good liners. Hey, Mr. Flying Dutchman, there's somebody we can scare. The only way out is through the perfume department. I tell you what I do all the time? So kids don't want, the high school kids I coach, I probably have never watched SpongeBob ever. When I try to set up a drill, Frank, to do okay, I need half of you on the number 10. I need half of you in between the hash mark and the sideline on the number 20. Half you on the 10, half you on the 20. Half you on the 10, half you on the 20. The lid, Patrick, the lid. That's when at football practice I have reached my boiling point. If I start doing the Patrick the lid, the kids are not listening. And we're going to start doing up downs. Is mayonnaise an instrument?
Horseradish is not an instrument either.
Boo, this guy stinks. Let's get to Brandon in Carlsbad. Brandon, what's going on, man?
No way. I literally just called you guys and you picked up. So, hey, Frank. Hey, Braden, real quick. I'm driving with my mom, and I was singing your guys' praises. I go, watch Mom. I call in all the time. I love these guys. They're a great representation of sport and some good God-fearing men. Say hi, Mom.
Hi, guys.
Well, hello, Brandon's mom. It's great.
Hi.
So, just wanted to call and give some love and support. Plug in the Surprenant show. What's up, Frank? Did we start the Let's Be Frank segment yet? Just asking. Other than that, let's go Padres today. Much love, you guys. God bless.
Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate it. That's someone that probably enjoys the SpongeBob references. Does Brandon's mom have his energy on YouTube? The YouTube chat, go Aztecs. Firmly grasp it. Oh, man. You know what? I'm glad that some people like the SpongeBob references today.
I'm hovering over the button. I'm not going to press it, though.
Firmly grasp it.
Just don't stop saying it.
The chocolate salesman one was great, too. That was an all-timer. Just lying. Just lying about the chocolate. Chocolate! All right, I'm done. I'm done with the SpongeBob stuff. Let's talk about Randy Vasquez. Randy Vasquez has had a pretty awesome start to the season. Now, his last start was not that great in comparison. Okay, he got knocked around a little bit. But there was an interesting article written, was this today or yesterday? It was this morning from Max Ralph on MLB.com about how Randy Vasquez has quietly become a breakout hero for the Padres who's desperately needed him in the early weeks of the season. Obviously, with the injury considerations, Vasquez, of course, was traded to the Padres from the Yankees in the Juan Soto trade. And right now, he's 1-0 with a 2.49 ERA. And what makes this more than just a hot start to the season and more than just a, whether or not it's hot start luck, is his underlying improvement. So we have gone through a lot of Randy Vasquez's metrics on this show, after starts of what he's been able to do. But Max was able to, Max Ralph went in and did a deeper dive into what has made Randy Vasquez a lot better this season. And he's throwing significantly harder, which is something that we've talked about too. His four-seam fastball is averaging 94.8 miles an hour, up from 93.5 in 2025. And that jump started trending upward last September. He credits an off-season regimen tweak worked on with veteran teammate Yu Darvish. We've talked about this. He's also changed his pitch mix. Four-seamer is now his go-to pitch 29.9% of the time, which is up from 21% before in his career. And it's gaining an extra 1.2 inches of induced vertical break. That rise that you see that hitters get confused thinking the ball is rising on them, but it's actually not. His changeup is 1.2 miles an hour harder, and he's nearly doubled its usage, up to 13.1% versus the 6.9% he threw it last season. Now, again, early sample size, we'll see if that changes over the year. But he's cutting back on curveballs and sweepers in the process. He's done a lot of fastball change, but the results are eye-popping in this small sample. Opponents are swinging at pitches outside the zone on his fastball chase rate at 33.3%. His whiff rate on fastballs is 30.2%. Changeup chase rate is at 27.8%. And the whiff rate on the changeup is 50%. 50% of the time, batters are whiffing at his changeup. None of these numbers were even 20% for him last year in 2025. That was the year that we were watching him labor through outings, thinking he was just like sneaking out. I don't know how he was sneaking out of these outings alive with the way that he pitched. He's still getting ahead in the count at a strong 62.2% first strike clip. He's living outside the zone more, and hitters are expanding the zone against him 6.3% more often, especially on that changeup, which he's only throwing in the zone 21.7% of the time. Advanced metrics paint a fascinating and slightly conflicting picture. In 2025, Vasquez posted a 3.84 ERA despite ugly expected numbers. This is what scared everybody. 5.37 expected ERA, 4.85 fielding independent pitching. In 2026, his fielding independent pitching is sparkling at a 2.67, yet his expected ERA still projects regression at 5.38. He's inducing career high weak contact at 7.1% and is slightly more ground balls, but he's also throwing a high 17.9% barrel rate. Bottom line is he keeps getting outs and winning games, even if the expected stats warn that some regression is coming. Is Randy Vasquez in a position to be that Padres top of the end starter? I don't know if he's ready to be an ace yet, but I definitely think he has improved his mark to be in the conversation of a top three pitcher in this organization for the next couple of years. And I think Randy Vasquez has done a really good job in developing. Now, he's got to be able to bounce back after his start he had last week that wasn't very good. And we'll see what happens. But the way Yu Darvish has flipped Randy Vasquez into a top-end starter, I think is really good for the Padres. And who said it at far corner, Frank? Who said it? Randy Vasquez could be in for a good year.
I think we both did.
We did. Right, but too early. Yet again. When we come back, we're going to dive into the Padres grinding out some wins while Stars still find their way. Padres still being able to be successful is great. And you know what? It goes off of like what we talked about in the Open about Manny Machado. Usually when Manny Machado gets off to a slow start, Padres get off to a slow start. But the Padres are not off to a slow start. They're right there with the second most wins in Major League Baseball. will explain how they're winning games despite their stars not starring, which was the big topic of discussion during this offseason. We'll discuss when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. College football might be starting earlier, and it's about a lot more than just the calendar. The NCAA is proposing a new schedule that would kick off the season before Labor Day starting in 2027. But here's the key change. Teams would get 2 bye weeks instead of just 1. Coaches are calling this a player safety win, saying the current schedule makes it too much of a physical and mental toll. And that part is true, but let's be real here. This also opens the door for something bigger, something that they actually want, and that's more flexibility in the schedule to make more room for the college football playoff and expansion. More games, more TV windows, more money. So the question isn't just about when the season starts. It's about where college football is headed. Is this about protecting players or building a bigger business? College football could be heading for a pretty significant change, and it might start as soon as 2027. The NCAA Football Oversight Committee is recommending a shift in the official start of the season, moving kickoff to before Labor Day weekend. Under this proposal, the season would begin on Thursday of what we currently call Week 0, Frank.
Yeah, now at first glance, this might not seem like a huge deal, but the structure behind it is where things get interesting. Teams would still play a 12-game regular season, but instead of cramming that into a tighter window, they would have 14 weeks to do it. That means 2 bye weeks instead of 1, which is something coaches have been pushing for. Clark Lea for Vanderbilt's head coach is a member of the committee. It was pretty clear about why this matters. He called it the current setup a health and safety issue, pointing out the physical, mental, and emotional toll on players when there isn't enough recovery time, especially with roster limits and tougher conference schedules.
So from a player standpoint, this looks like a clear win, but there's another layer to this. By starting the season earlier and building in more flexibility, the NCAA is also creating space for potential changes to the postseason, specifically the college football playoff. Right now, the playoff sits at 12 teams, but expansion is already being discussed. And if that happens, you're going to need more room on the calendar, obviously. This proposal does help solve that. It also keeps some traditions intact. Conference championship weekend stays untouched, and the Army-Navy game would still have its own standalone spotlight. Another notable piece here, the NCAA wants to eliminate special waivers that allow teams to start even earlier than the official date. We've seen more of those in recent years with games being played in late August, even internationally. This move would standardize the schedule and bring some structure back. For this to become official, it still needs approval from the Division I Council, which is expected to review it in June. Then this, of course, is for the next season in 2027. I'm not against this. I don't mind it. I think you got to redo the schedule because I also think you need to be done as quickly as possible where you're not having these playoff games go deep into January. Get this thing done in one semester so you can get everybody on the same page so the transfer portal doesn't open until after the conclusion of the college football national championship. If it was up to me, I would have the national championship every year at the Rose Bowl. And if that's not the case, I would have it end on January 1st every single year. Let's get this calendar moved up. I think they need to take it a step further. I mean, the conference championship games are utterly ridiculous at this point as well. I don't even think they're really the big money grab for a lot of these conferences anymore, because for all the people that spend money on watching their team play on the road, a lot of the teams that are playing in these conference championship games are already going to be in the playoff. And so why would I spend money to watch a championship game that doesn't matter when I know I'm going to have to save money to watch my team play in the college football playoff?
Yeah, and also to that, I mean, it makes sense in a situation like this, the Sun Belt, where they have conferences, where you have the East and the West Conference. Winner of each one takes on each other in the conference championship. They're the only conference that does that. So, I mean, you already have a conference winner. It's just playing the top 2 teams in the conference. So, yeah, I can see that game possibly being phased out. As far as moving the schedule up, again, I'm not opposed to it either. If you're going to, what I think this really sets up the expansion of the college football playoff, which is going to be coming further down the line. I think it's going to end around the same time, but with room for the expanded college football playoff. You're probably going to add more bowl games in that as well, especially with rumors that have been going around here over the course of the weekend. So, yeah, I think this was a move that was going to happen, and I think should have no problem going through the rules committee.
The more the NCAA or whoever wants to run college athletics and college football centralizes all the rules so the conferences don't have all different rules and making this chaos, the more centralization that they can do, whether it be scheduling, playoff, how many teams, this is all stuff that needs to be in place to make this a better game. And in my opinion, I think this is a step in the right direction. They're not going to be able to flip it overnight, but I like the direction they are going in with college football right now of adjusting the schedule, trying to change things, making sure the portal. If they're going to be a professional league, it's time to start putting in rules like a professional league. And I think this is a step in that direction. I was catching up during the break on the YouTube chat of all the SpongeBob references. Oh, man. It's phenomenal. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant, broadcasting live from the Bill Howe Studios. We know how. It's a Tuesday, coming off of a Padres off day. God, what do people do when the Padres have the day off? I play softball, apparently. I don't know how many more of those I'm going to have, though, because they're not going to have many Monday off days left.
We do a lot of recordings and not much else.
Well, we do that every Monday anyway.
I know.
Except for next Monday. I don't know when we're going to be able to do it. We'll figure it out. I won't be here next Monday. But we'll be back on Tuesday of next week, hopefully, after the Padres, have a 3-0 performance in Colorado and sweeping the Diamondbacks in Mexico City. Just saying. All right, let's talk about what the Padres have been able to do so far this year. So through 22 games, they are 15-7. Which is tied for second best record in Major League Baseball. They've won 10 of the last 11, and they've won 13 of the last 15. And despite all of that, Manny Machado's hitting a .186 with a .630 OPS. Jackson Merrill's hitting .231 with a .667 OPS. And Fernando's hitting .253 with no home runs. This team is stacking wins without elite production from its best hitters. Machado even said it. We talked about this yesterday. We're not even on fire offensively. They're not. Which creates a dangerous ceiling for this team, but also raises a red flag. Is this sustainable or just a mirage? Is it guys getting hot at the right time from the bottom half of the lineup? But if you look at the identity of this team, I think this is very important. This is not a star-driven team right now. This is a team that is grinding out at-bats, winning late games, and executing situationally. That is what makes a good offense. That is what makes a good baseball team. Being able to grind out at-bats, see a lot of pitches, hit mistakes, being able to win late games by getting runs when it matters, being able to execute situationally. That is something the Padres haven't been able to do for the last couple of years. They're doing it now. Guys like Ramón Laureano, Xander Bogaerts off to good starts. But the key indicators here are 8 game-winning runs in the seventh inning or later. It's a gritty team. That's a team that's still fighting to the end. That's a team that has a deeper lineup, and that's a team that is looking more like the 2020 Padres, where no lead seems safe against them, more so than maybe the last couple of Padres teams where if the other team got a lead, it just seemed like the game was over. So the Padres have 8 game-winning runs in the 7th inning or later, and they only have 2 first-inning runs all season, which doesn't surprise me because, and we stopped taking a look at this, but the leadoff guy to start a game for the Padres has been not good all season long. Not to say that that's an expected thing every single time to get your leadoff guy to start a game on base, but for the Padres, the leadoff position has been very tough for them, and it's been drastically better with Ramón Laureano in the leadoff spot. I mean, you could go look at their batting stats, if you will, their batting splits on their leadoff guys, and I'm going to take a look right now, but that's that's a big look at why they haven't scored a lot of runs the first inning. They're not getting guys on base in the first inning. Let's look at their leadoff batters to lead off a game. So, first batter of the game for the Padres, which, by the way, this is drastically improved. The first batter of the game for the Padres in 22 games, Frank. How many hits in 22 games does the first batter of the game for the Padres have?
Off the top of my head, I'm going to guess 3.
That'd be one more than they have.
I knew we made a big deal when it was 1.
We made a big deal. We're waiting for like the first game that they finally did it.
Yes.
And you know what? Maybe I'd have to see what the league average is, and I'll check that during one of these breaks. But in 22 games, the Padres leadoff batter of the game has 2 hits and 1 walk, and they've been hit by a pitch. They have 6 strikeouts, so that's not bad. At least they're not striking out a ton. I mean, 6 strikeouts and 22 at bats is not, or 22 plate appearances is not the end of the world. But do you want to hear their slash line? Batters to lead off a game for the Padres. You ready for this slash line?
100,
182, 332. Sorry, correction. 100, 182, 150. The OPS is 332. That is the batting average, on base percentage, and slug of the leadoff batter to start a game for the Padres. Batting average on balls in play, 143.
That's not great.
That's not awesome. So when I see the stat that the Padres have 2 first inning runs, it doesn't surprise me. They're not getting the leadoff guy on. To lead off an inning, it's drastically improved. They're now up to a 233 batting average with a 690 OPS. Do you want to tell me? Because I just think this is fun to do. Do you want to tell me who has the most plate appearances to lead off an inning this year?
To lead off an inning?
Yeah, that's leading off at any point in time during the game.
Would it be... Feels like Jake has done it so many times this year.
He's up there in the top 4. The reality is like 3 of the top 4 are going to be guys that have hit leadoff because they're guaranteed to get the first one for the game. So like 22 of those are spread over the first 3 guys. So Fernando has had 26 plate appearances at leading off an inning. What?
So the guy they don't want hitting leadoff is number 1?
Correct.
Nice.
You bat him like 4th. He's just looking to lead off, and he's still finding ways to lead off it. That's why you can't physically control it that much. How many times has he hit leadoff this year? He has hit leadoff
like
this
twice,
year.
I think, like once or twice.
He's hit a handful of times. Fernando, okay. Here you go. This is why I said it doesn't matter on the leadoff thing, because everybody goes like, you can't bat Fernando leadoff because you want people on base for him to come up. So it's a small sample size, but I'm going to do a mini victory lap. It's going to be like a little league size victory lap here on my deal. So Fernando has 26 plate appearances leading off an inning.
Mm-hmm.
5 of them are because he led the game off. So only 5, which is a small number. Ramón, he has more time. He has led off an inning more times than Ramón Laureano, who has led the Padres in leading off in games.
Yeah.
You know who number 2 is?
I would have to assume it's Manny in that case. Yeah.
Manny has led off an inning the second most out of any Padre this season. 25 at bat or 25 plate appearances. In a leadoff role, he has had the exact same numbers as Fernando. Fernando and Manny have the same batting average leading off an inning, 182, the same on base, 280, and the only difference is Manny has more slug. He's slugging 273 as a leadoff guy, and Fernando's slugging 227. That's pretty remarkable. You want to know who has the best batting average when he leads off? With a minimum of 10 at-bats?
Go for it.
Gavin Sheets.
Nice.
When Gavin Sheets leads off an inning, he's done it 16 times.
Leadoff hitter, Gavin Sheets. Boom. Done.
You know what? Gavin Sheets has led off an inning 16 times this year. In those 16 plate appearances, Gavin Sheets is 7 for 16 with 4 doubles, a home run, and 1 RBI on the solo shot that he hit, obviously. 4 strikeouts in the 16 at-bats. He's hitting .438 with a .438 on base, an .875 slug, and a .1313 OPS with a .545 batting average on balls in play. You know who the second highest guy is? Which I wouldn't be like shocked to see him hit leadoff. 15 plate appearances leading off an inning.
Xander?
Jackson Merrill. In 15 plate appearances leading off an inning, Jackson Merrill is 5 for 14 with 2 doubles, 2 home runs, 2 RBIs, a walk, and a strikeout. He's hitting .357 with a .929 slug and has the highest OPS out of any Padre when leading off an inning. 1329 on his OPS. I'm just saying, like, you wonder why they don't score a lot of runs in the first inning. I will say this. Ramón Laureano has done a lot better he has both the hits for the Padres in the leadoff spot, if you will. In terms of guys batting leadoff throughout the game, like just they got penciled in to be the first guy on the lineup. Laureano's done the best. He's hitting .260 now in the leadoff spot. He's 13 for 50 with a .324 batting average on balls in play. I know I kind of went on a little bit of a tangent there, but I think it reiterates why the Padres have 8 game-winning runs in the 7th inning or later and why they only have 2 first-inning runs all season. They're scoring late. They are beating teams despite quality starts, too. Like, the other teams are giving you quality starts. They're 6-6 in those games. So they're not dominating a lot of these games, but they're outlasting a lot of teams. And I think that is a recipe for success in the long term. The other thing, too, we talked about this briefly yesterday with this team being good and why they're winning, the defense. The defense is elite, and it's kind of underrated. 11 straight games without an error. Merrill has robbed 2 home runs in a week. Opponents are just 12 for 19 in stolen bases, which shows you how good Freddie Fermin and Luis Camposano have been behind the plate. And this is quietly carrying the team, too, because they're preventing runs, they're keeping games close, and they're allowing late-game execution to matter. I mean, they're kind of playing some playoff-style baseball right now in April, and they're finding ways to win, Frank, with grinding out at bats, playing good defense, and getting good pitching from a bullpen that has been absolutely dominant.
Yeah, we'll discuss that bullpen a little bit later on in the show, but I mean, it's been, like I said, it's been frustrating at times watching this team play because you know everyone in that lineup is so much better than what they're showing right now. And it's just the start to the season, so you kind of understand it. But it's going to come around. It is going to come around for this team offensively, but right now they're doing everything else right that they need to be doing in order to pick up the slack for that offense being below average right now.
What do you think about
perceived to be below average?
We didn't really make a segment of this, but we just kind of discovered. What do you think about the players leading off an inning?
Just have all 9 of them go up as the leadoff hitter, just one after the other, and just see what they do. There's
only been a handful of players that have done it consistently. Like anybody that hasn't done at least 10 times, I think it's not worth even looking at. Andujar, France, Fermin, and Bryce Johnson are all under 10 times they've led off an inning. Bryce Johnson's 2 for 2, by the way.
Guys that are not everyday players, or in Fermin's case, has been out of the lineup the last couple of days because he got knocked around.
Camposano and Castellanos have led off an inning 10 times each. Camposano's 333, Castellanos is 100. But Fernando, 182 when he leads off an inning. Machado, 182 when he leads off an inning. Ramón Laureano, 182 when he leads off an inning. Jake Cronenworth, 143 when he leads off an inning. Xander Bogaerts, 118 when he leads off an inning. Gavin Sheets, 438. Jackson Merrill, 357. Luis Camposano, 333. I don't think enough sample size. Honestly, I'd love to see Jackson Merrill bat leadoff now after looking at this?
He's
got all the tools of being a leadoff hitter. He was the guy that I mentioned on the roundtable, after giving Ramón Laureano a chance, right? Because you have to give him an ample of opportunity. Honestly, if you're talking about a leadoff guy, wouldn't you be focused more on guys that lead off innings? Because isn't that your approach more so than just batting first in the order? Maybe it's time to have maybe it's time to have Jackson Merrill bat leadoff for the Pods. Yeah, we'll table that. We'll talk about that later. Braden Surprenant Show. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. All of our guests join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bank Banking. It's better. We are broadcasting live for the Bill House Studios. We know how. And we're going to dive into a little bit of a conversation that I didn't think we really were going to get into, nor did I think it's necessary, like that needs to be a drastic change. But I do find it interesting, some of these numbers, when it comes to lineup construction, if you will. So I'm going to ask the question. And if you're on YouTube and you want to give me your thoughts, go ahead, throw it in the YouTube chat. If you're driving around, you want to be part of the show, but you don't have time to call, you can throw your text on there on YouTube. Don't do it while you're driving. Do it later. But that's the easiest way to communicate with the show, is jumping on YouTube. It's great. I think a lot of people enjoy watching on YouTube. And if you haven't done so already, go to youtube.com/@B_SURP, and you can find all of our content on there. You can also find our stuff on that 97 through the fan page. But if you go on there, subscribe to our channel. We got 1,030 something subscribers now. It's great. We post a lot of videos on Mondays that we slowly air throughout the week. If you're a member, you get first access to all of those videos. We're trying to get enough members to do a members only stream. We'll start doing those once we get to a certain threshold that we're trying to reach. Yes, I'm working on the members badges and all that other fun stuff. We're going to try to get that out there as well. But we have already posted. We're almost the next two videos we post, which will probably be Wednesday's show, Frank. That'll be our 600th video we have posted on YouTube. How about that? All right, 598 videos so far. But you could go on there and chat with our show. Sometimes we throw polls up on there as well. It's fun. YouTube.com/@B_SURP. Follow our streams. Turn your notifications on. You get notified every time we post new videos. And we do that a lot on this show. We have a lot of extra content that we like to post on our YouTube page. Plus, if you missed any of the show, while driving around, you could go on there and check out what we have been able to do. 1,032 subscribers now. We appreciate you guys doing that for us. Thank you very much. All right. So I'm going to ask this question to the YouTube chat. If you want to tweet at us, you can at B_SURP. If it's easier to do that way, at B_SURP show. Follow the show on Twitter as well. If you're watching on X right now, feel free to leave a comment. Same thing on Facebook. I want to know what your opinion is on this. Okay. When you're making a lineup, because it's fun. We'd like to talk about lineups on here. We like to play manager a little bit. I think Craig Stam is doing a great job with his lineup at mixing things in. Everybody likes to have a little bit of input, obviously. It's fun to play manager. We're doing this for fun, not because we think that Craig's doing a bad job. When you're putting out a lineup, do you want your best hitter batting leadoff, or are you looking for somebody that is going to set the tone, get on base, set the table for the heavy hitters behind him? That's the question. So for the leadoff standpoint, are you trying to get your most dynamic player up there, your best player? You want to see him get the most at-bats as possible? Are you going to view it like that? Or are you going to view it a more traditional way of, let's get a table setter, a guy that might be able to steal some bases, speed guy, any way to get on base? Go ahead and give me your answer on those. Frank, are you with the new school way of thinking or the old school way of thinking when it comes to lineup making?
Old school. I want a contact hitter with speed leading off.
You want somebody to get on base.
Yeah.
So when talking about that, are you interested then in seeing the statistics of how players have done while leading off an inning?
Yeah. Always interested in learning something new. Just because I prefer something one way doesn't mean I'm not amendable to change.
Did you pull up these splits on Baseball Reference?
No.
Pull up these splits on Baseball Reference, because I want you to follow along and tell me, based on how these guys have done leading off innings, right? Because that would be the best way to fill that role, would it not?
Mm-hmm.
Would it be a guy that knows how to lead off an inning? Because I think your approach changes with guys on base. I think your approach changes a little bit when you are in different situations. The only time a leadoff guy is going to have that leadoff kind of mantra is when they lead off an inning. and there's nobody on base. So
where is it at?
If you go to Baseball Reference and you go to the Padres page and you click on 2026 and then go to team batting splits, you can scroll down and they will have on their leading off inning, it will say first batter of the game, and then it'll have leadoff inning. And if you click on leadoff inning, it will pull up everybody's stats this season when leading off an inning.
Gotcha.
So once you pull that up, let me know and start looking at the data. I think you have to look at players that have had at least 10 plate appearances because it's a small sample. So Fernando has done it the most. He has had 26 plate appearances this year when leading off an inning. Manny's had 25. Ramón Laureano and Jake Cronenworth have had 24. 19 for Xander Bogaerts. Sheets has done it 16 times. Merrill's done it 15. Camposano and Castellanos has done it 10 times each. So those are the guys you're looking for. When looking at this information, and you look at some of the tools these guys have and what they have done while leading off an inning, the two best players in terms of average on-base slug OPS are Gavin Sheets and Jackson Merrill, are they not?
Yes.
Gavin Sheets, when leading off an inning, I kind of mentioned this in the last hour. Gavin Sheets, when leading off an inning, has had 16 plate appearances. He's 7 for 16 with 4 doubles and a home run. He has only struck out 4 times, which is the third highest out of all of these. Actually, 4th highest. So it kind of in the middle. He's hitting .438 with the same on-base percentage because he doesn't walk. He hasn't walked yet. And an .875 slug with a 13-13 OPS. Total bases have been 14. His batting average on balls in play has been .545. Jackson Merrill, in 15 plate appearances, he is 5 for 15, 2 doubles, 2 home runs, 2 RBIs, 1 walk. He has only struck out once. He's hitting .357 with a .400 on base, a .929 slug, and a .1329 OPS. Based on that information and the old school way of putting a lineup together, I think you got to bat Jackson Merrill leadoff and see what it's like.
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
I agree with that 100%. He's got to walk, less strikeouts. On base is going to be a little bit higher because of that. Slugging is higher than the Gavin Sheets because he's hitting doubles. Or he's got an extra home run. I would take Jackson Merrill as the leadoff hitter. Yes.
I also think, because here's the other thing too, is with this new school way of thinking, isn't like Jackson Merrill's batting third on your team right now. That's been traditionally your best hitter. I think Jackson Merrill getting multiple at-bat, probably the most at-bats a game, and knowing what he has done so far in a very limited sample size of leading off an inning, he has shown that he can lead off and be the leadoff hitter. Now, again, he's not going to always be that spot because Fernando has been the leadoff guy 5 times this year. He leads the team in most plate appearances leading off an inning, which is interesting to me. But when you're constructing your lineup, I think Jackson Merrill's not bad. Look, like you're going to find some problem with all of these guys. Like somebody in the YouTube chat said, he swings first pitch too much. He's not going to grind out the at-bat. But Jake Cronenworth's going to grind out an at-bat, but he's hitting 143. Do you want him leading off at that point? I know his on base is 250 when leading off an inning, but he's worked 3 walks, which is great. He sees a lot of pitches, but if he's not hitting the ball at all either, that also doesn't help out.
5 strikeouts as well.
He also has 5 strikeouts. Correct. I mean, you look at Ramón Laureano's numbers, and right now he is batting leadoff, in my opinion, because of the fact that he has been a better hitter for the Padres, and he has had some success at leadoff spot. But Ramón Laureano leading off innings, 182 average, 250 on base, 227 slug, a 477 OPS. He has 6 strikeouts, second most out of any player on the Padres when leading off an inning, and he only has 1 walk, which is also a team low. So, interesting information when you're constructing a leadoff guy, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see Jackson Merrill bat leadoff.
Agreed.
I'd like to see it a couple of times. Now, I guess you would have to go look to see what he has done in his career. I think that's probably a little bit more of a sample size, and maybe that's something we can look up real quick for Jackson. And maybe he's just gotten the benefit of 15 games. Because, again, it's a very small sample size when it comes to him batting, leading off an inning. Because if you want to go the traditional approach, again, this is why we spurred this conversation, then you would want to look at a guy that leads off innings, not just bats leadoff, because just batting leadoff, there's no guarantee you're going to lead off multiple times in the game.
He started once as a leadoff hitter. He's 1 for 5 as the number one leadoff hitter in his career. He's led off an inning 174 times, 228 228 plate appearances, 215 at bats. He's hitting 293 with a .333 on base, .530 slug, and a .864 OPS.
I mean,
13 doubles, 1 triple, 12 homers, 13 walks, 39 strikeouts.
If you click on that particular stat, you can see all 3 years that he's done it.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Right. And he's improved every year with a leading off an inning. Now, he has had less opportunities in 2025 and 2026. He was hurt a lot of 2025. Mm-hmm. But he's improved his batting average. He's improved his on base. He's improved his slug tremendously. He's improved his OPS. He is getting better as a guy that leads off innings. I think it's worth giving him a chance to lead off a game and bat leadoff. I mean, it's not like, and I'm not saying it's broken, but Ramón Laureano leading off a game this year is hitting 200, and Ramón Laureano in the leadoff spot this year is hitting 260. He's not like blowing you off the page. He's still hitting very well. But if you have Merrill bat leadoff and have Fernando bat second and Laureano bats third and Machado bats fourth, I wouldn't mind seeing that lineup out there for the Padres. I really wouldn't. I think that would be pretty good to see. Now, somebody asked me, he thought it'd be interesting if you could find like who's not good with like 2 outs, like who's always getting out. I was like, I don't know if you can find that, but player with 2 outs. The worst player on the team with 2 outs, and at least is Gavin Sheets, which is also interesting. So with 2 outs, Xander Bogaerts has had the most at bats with 2 outs, which makes sense. He's batting 5th, right? Mm-hmm. If he's getting up early in the game, he's probably going to have multiple outs batting 5th, especially the fact that the leadoff guy never gets on base.
He's had the most plate appearances,
correct,
not the most at bats. He's got Jackson Merrill has the most official at bats. He's got the second most plate appearances.
Xander's walked 4 times.
Yes.
Jackson's walked once. In the most plate appearances of with 2 outs, Xander's hitting 222 with a 545 OPS. I think at this point, the cutoff should be at least 10 times still? 10 plate appearances, which covers everybody but Ty France and Bryce Johnson. Yeah. So if you go from that particular statistic with 2 outs, Ramón Laureano is your best hitter with 2 outs.
Yeah, he is.
He's hitting 370 with a 778 slug and an 1171 OPS. He's got 3 home runs, 10 RBIs, 10 for 27 with a walk and 9 strikeouts. He does have the 9 strikeouts. He does lead with the strikeouts, but the guy's been hacking up there with 2 outs. His batting average on balls in play, also team high, 467. I almost feel like you should bat him 3rd for that reason.
Yeah. And Merrill's only batting $179.
Merrill has not been good with 2 outs. Nick Castellanos has not been good with 2 outs. Miguel Andujar has not been good with 2 outs. Jake Cronenworth has not been good with 2 outs. And the worst player on the Padres with 2 outs, Gavin Sheets. Gavin Sheets with 2 outs, 3 for 20, hitting 150 with a 440 OPS and a 188 batting average on balls in play with 4 strikeouts and 1 walk. Your best players are clutch players with 2 outs. Laureano hitting 370. Camposano hitting 300. Now, his has been clutch stats, too. Manny Machado's been hitting 238. Fernando, 238. Freddie Fermin, 231. Xander, 222. Everybody else has been hitting under 200. Bryce Johnson, with 5 at-bats, is 2 for 5. He's hitting 400, but he has only had 5 at-bats.
Yeah, Cody, we're not doing... This is just an exercise out of pure fun. We're not saying that Stamin's doing anything wrong. We're just trying to... We're just looking at numbers, really, is all we're doing.
So we look at these numbers. I'd go Jackson Merrill batting leadoff. I'd go Fernando batting second. I'd go Laureano batting third. I'd have Manny Machado bat fourth. I'd probably then go to Xander Bogaerts batting fifth. And then you get to the 6-7 range, which is, Gavin Sheets probably sixth. And then your 7, 8, 9 is, who am I missing at this point? I'm missing a DH, Jake Cronenworth, and the catcher. So whoever your DH is, whether it be Castellanos or Andujar batting seventh. And then you go, I like the catcher batting eighth, because even though Jake Cronenworth hasn't had great luck with a lot of stuff, he still does a good job grinding out at bats. I'd rather have him bat ninth anyway. So Merrill, Tatis, Laureano, Machado, Bogaerts, Sheets, Andujar, Campusano, Cronenworth. That's my lineup right now, based on the stats we have seen through 22 games. That's why I think it'd be very interesting to see Jackson Merrill bat leadoff. What are you at right now?
Yeah, I mean, I liked what you put out. I think Merrill leading off, Fernando second. I still like Manny third and Ramon 4. 5 would probably be Sheets. I'd say Andujar's probably earned the DH spot, so I put him at 6. I'm trying to figure out who I'm missing. Sorry. Xander 5, Sheets 6.
Your DH 7.
Andujar 7. Catcher, and then Jake.
So we're on the same page.
Yeah, more or less.
I think it'd be interesting if they saw this, I know they see this information, but I honestly think this is the perfect case, an example of why you have Merrill bat leadoff and you have Laureano bat in the middle heart of the order with what he has been able to accomplish, also with how good he has been with 2 outs. Interesting conversation that spurred up today. I liked it. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Or, by the way, Frank, they can just continue what they're doing because, I don't know, they're 15-7. And they have the second most wins in Major League Baseball. Always try to look for improvements, though. Always trying to look for improvements. I think this week would be kind of tough to do it because I think the high altitude would give you some false hope for a lot of results. I think you just let these guys go with what they've been doing. But I think it would be interesting to see Jackson Merrill bat leadoff.
Like the title says, first of 5 games in zero gravity.
When we come back, let's talk about the bullpen a little bit. Bullpen is carrying everything. Rotations looks pretty good too. We'll talk about the pitching as well as the next man up factor. Some of the other things that we've learned over the weekend for the Padres going into today's game against the Rockies. Braden Surprenant Show, Standing Room Sports Station 97 through the Fan. The NHL playoffs are here. Round 1 is where predictions usually fall apart. Every series looks breakable on paper. You can talk stats, possession, matchups, but none of that guarantees anything once Game 1 starts. Carolina and Ottawa, tight series, but Carolina's structure and experience give them the edge. Pittsburgh and Philly, youth versus experience, but playoff habits still matter. Tampa Bay, Montreal, the Habs are rising, but the Lightning have been here too many times before. And out west, Colorado and Edmonton look like machines, but Dallas and Vegas are built for playoff chaos as well. Here's the truth. In the NHL playoffs, it's not about who's better on paper. It's about who wins the most important shifts when everything is on the line, and that's where seasons are decided. The NHL playoffs are here, and as we head into round 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs, the reality is simple. Everyone's got a theory. You can break down puck possession, expected goals, forecheck pressure, special teams, goaltending toughness, you name it. And you'll find stats to support all of it. But the truth, once the puck drops in Game 1, none of it's guaranteed to matter the way you think it will. So instead of pretending there's a perfect formula, let's go series by series and lean into what actually feels most important heading into each matchup. Let's start with the Eastern Conference Series breakdown, Hurricanes and Senators, Frank.
Yeah, Game 1, again, we're recording this on Monday. The playoffs had started on Saturday. So the Carolina Hurricanes right now lead this series 1-0. after beating the Senators 2-0. The Hurricanes are built on structure, depth, and relentless pace. They finished with one of the best goal differentials in hockey this season, but the Ottawa Senators are the trendy pick, and you get it. They're hot. They've got skill. Their blue line is legit. Still, there is skepticism here. Goaltending is the swing factor. Ottawa's surge in net hasn't been long enough to trust completely, and Carolina's identity doesn't just disappear in April. This feels tight, physical, low margin, but Carolina's experience and system is expected to grind this series out. And again, they have a 1-0 lead in the series as it stands.
Penguins and Flyers. Penguins bring something Philly doesn't yet, and that's playoff repetition at the core. Sidney Crosby, they have Chris Letang, they have Malkin. Those are playoff habits built over decade plus. The Flyers are exciting. They're young, they're dangerous, but there's still a learning curve in handling playoff pressure shifts. This isn't about talent. It's about timing, and Pittsburgh still knows how to win these games. I like the mascot battle between the Pens and the Flyers. I think the stuff on social media for this one's been good. Two teams in the same state, Pittsburgh, Philly. You know there's going to be some bad blood in this one.
Yeah, there certainly is. And with everything you said, leaning towards the playoff expectations and how seasoned Pittsburgh is, yeah, they lost game one. They lost game one 3-2.
That's what happens.
Yep, exactly right.
They play again on Monday at 4:00. So we'll see. We'll see if Philly takes a 2-game lead in this or not.
The Montreal Canadiens and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Canadiens won game one yesterday, Sunday, 4-1. So they lead the series. The Lightning are exactly what playoff hockey tests you. Again, structure, star power, and experience. The Canadiens are up and coming, fast, skilled, and dangerous, but the separator is that Tampa has been through this exact moment before, multiple times. If Montreal wins this series, they're officially ahead of schedule, but Tampa's course still understands how to close out tight playoff series. This one goes the full 7, but experience wins out late. So anticipating a 7-game series here with Tampa winning it. They're going to have to win in at least 5 now if they want to do it.
Final matchup in the Eastern Conference. It's the 1 seed Buffalo Sabres in terms of their division winner. They're taking on the Boston Bruins, who was wild card number 1. Sabres are one of the most interesting teams in the playoffs. Speed, puck moving defense, and underrated depth scoring. The Bruins bring a different kind of problem. They're physical, they're structure, and they have elite goaltending. So this becomes simple. If Buffalo's defense activates and they survive the physical grind, they win. If Boston drags it into a war, it flips fast. Slight lean to Buffalo's talent carrying them through. Plus, they haven't made the playoffs in, 17, 18 years, whatever it is.
Around there, yeah.
Their fans have already been going bonkers
it's been insane.
in the first game, which is great to see. And Buffalo already took game 1. They have a 1-game lead in the series. Let's go out west, where the Avalanche have the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, winning the Central Division, and they host the LA Kings that, record-wise, Frank, the point system really benefited the Kings this year because they didn't have a lot of regulation wins.
No, they did not. The Colorado Avalanche are just loaded. Top-end talent, depth scoring, and added center flexibility makes them a nightmare matchup. The Kings can steal a game, maybe 2, if everything breaks the right way. But over a full series, Colorado's faster, deeper, more explosive. This feels like a mismatch in playoff intensity. Avs won the first game 2-1. That was last night, again, as we record on Monday. So the Avs are already one step closer to the second round.
All guests joining us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bang Banking, it's better. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's Urban Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. Juan Ruiz in the YouTube chat had a question for you, Frank. Will Inter get a goal against Como, or will it go to penalty kicks?
They just beat Como 4-3, so I have all the confidence in the world that they will get an goal.
I love when one stirs up the pot to Frank. The soccer S-talk that one dishes out makes me cackle every time.
Yeah, I know. And that's where your comment in the chat came in, because you said he was talking S. I'm like, okay, cool. My team's about to win a league championship this year while his is sweating it out. So, that's...
AC is still breathing down your throat, dude.
They're not. They're
They're right there.
games back.
They're right there.
They're not. They're 3 games back with 5 to go.
Stirring it. What league are we talking about? Is it Serie A?
Yes.
All right. I got to get a Serie A team just so I could just join the S talk.
If it's Juventus or Milan, I'm going to throw you out a window.
My grandmother gave me a Juventus jersey a long time ago.
That's cool.
A long time ago. I never had. I don't know where it's at.
It's in.
As a Sicilian, I don't know if I can represent anybody outside of Sicily. Is there any Sicilian teams in Serie A?
There are. Palermo. Not in Serie A. Palermo's in City B. They're on their way up, though. They have been in Serie A. They haven't been there for like a decade. But Palermo's on their way up. I like Palermo.
I mean, I know the cities that my family's from. I don't know how good their soccer is. Is Sheffield any good? Probably not.
Yeah, but yeah. Juan in the chat. City was 4 games back with 6 to go. Buddy, my team has won 20 Serie A championships. How many Premier League titles has Arsenal won? 20? Not 20. We have experience with this. You don't. Relax.
Are you guys finished?
I'm good now.
Okay, I'm glad. Juan, are we good in the YouTube chat? Hopefully Juan's okay. All right, let's get to what we were talking about with the pitching staff for the Padres. Pitching did a great job over the weekend. Friday, it did not do a good job. But Saturday and Sunday, when the offense got a little cold again against the Angels, the pitching really took over. Michael King's got a 2.28 ERA, and he's not even sharp yet. Surviving without his A stuff, living in trouble, escaping damage, and facing elite pitching consistently. 9 starters with a 3.3 ERA or better is what the Padres have faced all year this year. Yet they got 2 guys that have a sub-3 ERA in their starting rotation, which is great to see for the San Diego Padres. Honestly, with all of the question marks, Frank, that we have seen, all the question marks that we have had with this Padres team going into the season about the starting pitching, they've had a pretty good start to the season for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, not having Joe Musgrove or Nick Pivetta for an amount of time is not great, obviously. Hopefully Griffin Canning can bring this team back and fill out the rotation. But if you look at the rotation right now, Michael King, 3-1 with a 2.28 ERA, now has the highest BWAR on the team. He is your best pitcher, which is kind of expected going into the season. We thought he was going to be your best pitcher. He's gotten 27 2/3 innings. He's been great. His ERA plus right now, in terms of how he compares to the rest of the league, is a 179. So he's 79 percentage points better than an average pitcher in Major League Baseball. Randy Vasquez. I would say Randy Vasquez is acting like a 1A, 1B type pitcher with his stats right now, but he's really playing into a number 2 spot. He pitches tonight. He's 1-0 with a 2.49 ERA. That's something that you probably wouldn't expect going into the season this year. Over 21 2/3 innings. Hopefully he could do pretty well against Colorado tonight. So that's your number 1 and your number 2. Ramón Marquez is really pitching like a 3. He's 2-1 with a 3.86 ERA. And then 4 is Walker Buehler. 1-1 with a 4.58 ERA through 17 2/3 innings. He's pitching a little bit closer to a 4, probably more on a 5 side. You add Griffin Canning to the starting rotation. Yes, there's still going to be question marks, but I like the improvements that they have made with Ruben Niebla each and every start. We're seeing Ramón Marquez get better. We're seeing Walker Buehler get better. And we're seeing guys like Michael King and Randy Vasquez really carry this rotation. And for a lot of the questions going into the season, the Padres have done a pretty good job of answering those, at least in the first couple of games. That's why collecting wins now is so important, because as I mentioned in spring training, the rotation has assembled, I thought was good enough to get you to the trade deadline, and that's when you're going to have to make a move. Right now, they're doing exactly what they've been asked to do, Frank.
Yeah, the starting rotation has made... The starting rotation has made up for any offensive lack. They've made these games they've kept these games close. We saw first start at a Nick Pivetta wasn't great, and now we've seen what that has led to. Michael King, after pitching a lot more than we thought he did last year. Had a slow start in spring training. He's coming around now. Randy Vasquez has been the anchor, and you're getting good battles out of Walker Buehler and Germán Marquez. So that has completely made up the difference in what this offense has lacked. And the offense has kicked in with some spectacular moments, 3 walk-offs in the last homestand. The bullpen has been unbelievable for this team and has truly been the anchor. And it has been exactly what we had anticipated it being, is if the Padres get into the 6th inning with a lead, ball game.
It's funny, the morning show was talking about, we haven't had time to dive into it yet. Maybe we'll dive into it in the later hours. David Schoenfield had his one player that could be traded at the deadline for every team or something like that. I mean, he has to, it's not a David Schoenfield thing. Okay. ESPN needs content all the time. They're constantly looking for content. We read this content. This is stuff that you can make cool segments out of and everything. But David Schoenfield's had early MLB 2026 trade deadline preview for all 30 teams, right? And in that, he talked about, for the Padres, it was, because everybody had to have a trade candidate. He listed, and when you start thinking about it from what he was trying to accomplish, he listed Adrian Morejon because he's an impending free agent. He's a good bullpen arm. So he goes, the Padres rotation already erased it. They're looking for a starting pitcher or a hitter, and they have Adrian Morejon to kind of dangle the carrot with. And in the morning show's conversation about this, I agree with Woods and Paul. I think Ben was kind of playing devil's advocate a little bit. But you don't want to pull from your bullpen, because I think we've learned in the last couple of years that in the playoffs, teams that win go to their bullpen fast. And you only really need 3 starters. And those guys don't really need to get you that deep into innings, into games, because you're playing all hands on deck baseball throughout October. So you need a guy like Adrian Morejon. And that's why the bullpen being a strength and being special is so important to this Padres team, because that's how you win in October now in Major League Baseball. And you need guys like Adrian Morejon back there throwing 100 miles an hour from the left side. You need Mason Miller dotting sliders on the outside part of the plate at 88 and then hitting 104 above the zone. I mean, you need those guys. Add in a guy like Bradley Rodriguez stepping into leverage. This is a bullpen that's deep, it's power heavy, and it's very much October caliber, which makes it easier for starting pitchers, I think, because here's the deal. They're letting these guys go 5. And a lot of these guys are going 5. They're getting them the wins. And they're like, we're taking over the bullpen. I think that's giving these starting pitchers some confidence of, I'm going to empty out the tank in the first 5 innings instead of having to worry about getting through a 6th.
Yeah, and that's where this bullpen has really come alive. It's been what we expected this bullpen to be, and that is huge. You knew the starting rotation was going to be weak or weaker going into this season. So all you need to do was get in a position to where you can give the bullpen the game. And that's exactly what they've done more often than not here so far this season. And the bullpen has come through more often than not. And the back end of the bullpen, when it's, the second the 9th inning comes around, it's game over. It's getting to that point. And since you've moved Adrian Morejon up a little bit, he's gotten a little bit better. You've gotten the anchor of Jason Adam back. He's working and doing what he needs to do in the 8th inning. I mean, this bullpen has worked out exactly how you thought it was, and that leaves the starting rotation to just keep the game close. Don't let the game get out of hand. Fight and don't wear us out, and that's exactly what they've done.
Next man up factor has been real for this team. Fernando Tatis Jr.'s approach is a big talking point. We'll talk more about Fernando's approach and why he doesn't have a home run yet, why it's not that big of a deal. Maybe a little bit, not that much. We'll talk about it when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's Urban Sports Station 97 through the Fan. Major League Baseball season only a few weeks old, and it already makes no sense. Right now, the NL Central has every team over 500, including the Pirates leading the division, and the Cardinals on a win streak. That's not normal. Meanwhile, the Dodgers, Braves, and Padres still look like contenders, but even they aren't running away from anything. And there's the bigger storyline. Parity is everywhere. The Mets are collapsing, the Phillies look flat, and the Astros are dealing with injuries, but teams like the Marlins, Tigers, and Rays are hanging right in the mix. The season doesn't have separation. It has chaos. So the question is simple. Is this the most competitive MLB season we've seen in years? Or are we just watching early season noise before the real contenders take over? We're a few weeks into the MLB season, and the league already feels upside down. Super teams are still near the top, but so are unexpected contenders. Slumping stars are dragging teams down. And maybe the biggest storyline, the NL Central looks like the best division in baseball right now. That alone tells you how strange this season is shaping up to be. Let's talk about the NL Central.
Yeah, no, historically, the NL Central hasn't been exactly dominant. In fact, there was a time where an 83-win team would win the division. Right now, all teams, all five of them, are over 500. The Milwaukee Brewers are still doing what they do, winning quietly. The Cubs are currently surviving injuries. The Reds are winning tight games at an unsustainable pace. The Pirates are surprisingly leading the division. And the Cardinals are on a winning streak. Not something that we would have had. This isn't just balance. This is chaos with structure. The real question is whether or not this holds, or if one of these teams eventually separates like we've seen in past seasons.
Yeah, let's take a look at the power rankings right now. At the top of baseball, things are more predictable. The Dodgers are still the standard. Atlanta looks like the back to elite form despite injuries. San Diego getting dominant bullpen production. And the New York Yankees are thriving off young talent development. Top tier still exists, but it feels less separated than usual. Even elite teams are being challenged more consistently. And we've already seen some early breakout storylines in the first 22 games or so.
Yeah, Shohei Ohtani's extending his on-base streak. Austin Riley looks like he's gotten back to being Austin Riley again. Bryce Terang quietly putting up MVP-level production. Jose Ramirez looking like an MVP candidate in Cleveland again. So the Stars are starting to heat up. But the difference this year is how many mid-tier players are breaking out alongside those stars to help the teams overall.
Now, in terms of teams that are feeling the pressure a little bit, New York Mets are in a free fall, and we don't have this much time on our regular show to talk about it, but what's the state of the Mets, Frank, on Monday, April 20th?
Nuclear apocalypse.
Pain.
Right now. Yeah.
Suffering.
Well,
the inflatable Mr. Met that was deflating on the ground that I sent you over the weekend.
I mean, I don't know how Carlos Mendoza still has a job. I really, really
or
don't.
Or David Stearns, for that matter.
And David Stearns, if he gets let go, it's going to be at the end of the season. You're not going to go in a completely different direction with an organization at the beginning of the year. To lose 11 straight games in the way they have, and they've done it against Oakland is one of the teams that they've lost to, now getting swept by Chicago. The stupid reasoning behind Mendoza not walking Nico Horner on Sunday, who ends up getting you the hit when you have Michael Busch, who's hitting $164, sitting behind him, putting the double play in order. I mean, it just makes no sense whatsoever. And you can't even say it's because Juan Soto's not there. It's because they won the first 3 games without him. So I have no idea what is going on with the Mets. They just look completely and utterly lost with no leadership whatsoever.
I feel like the Mets go through stretches like this almost every single season. 11 straight is a tough stretch, and that is a way to not make the playoffs. You don't clinch the playoff spot in April, but you sure as heck can lose it.
Yeah, they haven't lost 11 games in a row since 2004. And I'll give that 2004 team a lot of credit. They have something they didn't have something that this team does. Talent. They had nothing. If you want to talk about the black hole in the history of Met baseball, it's 2002 to 2005. 2005 is when they started to turn around. Think of the 2002, 3, and 4 Mets as like the 2011, 12, and 13 Padres. Just historically bad. This team is now following in that trend, and since August of last year have been the worst team in baseball with 2 virtually completely different rosters.
You know what else doesn't look very good is the Phillies. The Phillies are looking slow and inconsistent. They're looking, you know what they're looking? They're looking old. The Phillies are looking old. And so, like, as much as, you know, these contracts that get handed out, everybody criticizes maybe the Padres contract. The Phillies have a lot of these contracts too with older players than the Padres have. And the only team that has really found the fountain of youth is the Dodgers in terms of like these aging veterans never not getting, you know, better. Philly, I mean, they're starting to see Father Time rear his ugly head. On the Fan, broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how. I do want to mention that draft coverage on 97 through the Fan is presented nationally by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. Drafts on Thursday and Friday and Saturday.
Just the draft.
I like draft beers. Now, I feel like there needs to be a time and place for a draft beer. Not this year, go Aztecs. It's kind of a...
No draft show this year.
No, I'm leaving Thursday night anyway. I wasn't going to be able to do it, and then it's not... I love the NFL. I love the draft. How much time do we have to wait before we can drop that name in there? I love the draft. I think it's fun. I thought it was more fun when I had a team. I could get more into it. As a huge football fan and football coach, it pains me that I still don't really have an NFL team. And I don't think I will ever have the love for a team again unless this city got a team back. I can't root for things that I don't have a tie for. Like, I like the Anaheim Ducks. I'll watch a lot of Ducks hockey. I think it's fun. But even then, like, my passion for Ducks hockey is not as high as Padres baseball or TCU football or TCU any athletics or any of my other schools that I root for that I have some type of tie for, if you will. So it pains me that I don't have an NFL team to like get super excited about their draft and analyze the draft on other stuff. And then people just go like, oh, why don't you just root for this team? I can't. I just can't. I've tried. I can't. Like, I try to root for the Cowboys because I spent time there, and they're okay. They're not very good. I don't really care. But the reality is, I don't care if they win, and I don't care if they lose. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have any connection to the team. I don't care. There's nothing. That team does not represent me in any way. I can't jump on teams' bandwagons. I physically can't do it. Why don't you become this fan? I can't. There's no reason for me to root for them. I don't have interest in doing so. It's a shame because as I get older and as I develop more as a coach and get more into the ins and outs of football, a sport that I love, I can't get into like just rooting for one team. I like watching the draft because I like watching a lot of the highlights. I like seeing where guys go. I'm a big college football fan, so it's cool to see where a lot of these players end up. I play fantasy football, but I just will never have that same love of like, oh man, we got to get so-and-so now. I like this upgrade, like watching the highlight. I miss that stuff. I don't get that anymore. And before anybody is like, well, you can still root for the Chargers. No, I can't. I can't root for the Chargers. They represent LA. They don't represent me. I can't do it. It doesn't bring me joy. And if the team I root for wins the championship and it doesn't bring me joy, then Frank, why would you even watch in the first place?
You say that to somebody who watches Met baseball, dude.
But if they won the World Series, would you be upset?
Oh God, no.
Correct. What my thing is if the Chargers ever won a Super Bowl, Frank, I'd be more upset about it than happy. And at that point, why would I watch?
Exactly, yeah.
That's my whole logic. Would be why would I watch? So if I can't find joy in any NFL team winning a Super Bowl more than just, oh, cool, an NFL team won the Super Bowl, then what's the point of me watching a team? What's the point? Which is kind of depressing when you like say it like that. I mean, I watch for other reasons. I watch for fantasy football. I love the sport of football. I used to be somebody growing up that like never understood that. like how people could just like watch the league and just be a fan of the league. But that's me now. I'm like Rob Lowe with the NFL hat. That's kind of where I'm at right now when it comes to NFL stuff. But I love the draft. I think the draft is fun. This year's draft, kind of boring, not going to lie. There's not a lot of like big players in this year's draft. It's like, oh, are the Raiders going to draft Mendoza? I mean, there's not a lot of great storylines. Most of this, like this draft is great for the diehard NFL fans that have a favorite team, because this is the draft that like loads up your depth for special teams and young guys and helps you win a Super Bowl. But for like the casual observer, it's okay. It's not great. All right. I do want to get into Fernando Tatis Jr. We're going to do that at noon, but we do need to get to today's sports thread. What do we got going on tap today, Frank?
You know that group chat, the one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk.
All right, Frank, what do we got going on today?
I just noticed we have a 53-hour clock going on ESPN for the draft.
It's their big deal, man. The NFL is king.
I understand that, but it's the only thing that ESPN ever cares about is the NFL or the NBA.
Number 1.
If you look at ESPN right now, they have a gigantic banner about when the draft is on the side. They have the countdown of the draft. They have the usual ticker. Above the ticker, they have the team needs as all the teams go up. And then above that is the lower third of what is actual. The actual video screen is like the smallest thing for ESPN right now. It's all garbage on there.
Speaking of
garbage,
just all garbage being on the screen, we're going to start with the NFL. Defending champs, the Seattle Seahawks are openly signaling a trade down strategy heading into the draft. They are not ruling out deals within the division. GM John Schneider made it clear that Seattle wants more picks, sitting with just 4, including the number 32 pick. What's turning heads is his willingness to potentially help an NFC West rival land a quarterback, even with prospects like Ty Simpson and Fernando Mendoza on the board. Historically, trading inside the division has been rare, but Schneider is prioritizing roster building over old school hesitation, especially in what he views as a shallow draft class where accumulating picks could outweigh staying put. If you're the Seahawks, is stockpiling picks worth the risk of potentially handing a division rival their franchise quarterback?
What's the division rival they're handing it to? The Cardinals?
Well, any of them.
Any of them? Yeah, sure. Why
trading
not?
Within the division.
Oh, absolutely. I'm gonna make my team better. There's maybe one quarterback that like might be worth something, and it's Mendoza, and that's it. There's nobody else that like really is like, oh man, this guy's gonna be my franchise quarterback. It is a low quarterback draft, and you have to do what's best for your organization. Go ahead, Arizona. Go draft one of these guys. I'm gonna load up on a bunch of linebackers and linemen and make my team badass, and I'm gonna kick your ass as you overpay for a quarterback that probably isn't going to be changing the direction of your franchise. By the way, let's say it is the Cardinals. They're such a poorly run organization anyway. Does it even matter? You could probably give them good players. They'd still screw it up. So, yeah, I'd totally trade for more draft picks if I'm Seattle. Of course.
There you go.
Number 2.
Go ahead. Try to beat me, Arizona.
This is one you sent me.
Try to win more than 4 games, Arizona.
This is one you sent me last night. Craig Counsell did not hold back when criticizing MLB's two-way player rule, calling it bizarre because it allows the Los Angeles Dodgers to effectively carry 14 pitchers, while most teams, including the Cubs, are capped at 13. The loophole exists because Shohei Ohtani qualifies as a two-way player and does not count towards the pitcher limit, giving the Dodgers added roster flexibility that no other team can replicate. The rule was originally designed to promote offense and accommodate rare talents, but with Ohtani currently the only player meeting the criteria, it raises a real question about competitive balance and whether Major League Baseball unintentionally built a rule that benefits only one team in a meaningful way. Jim Bowden said basically the same thing as well. Should Major League Baseball adjust the rule to level the playing field, or is it just the natural advantage that comes with having a once-in-a-generational player like Ohtani?
I think they put the rule in, well, for a couple of reasons. Like, one, they wanted to show it from a business side. They wanted to show Ohtani off. He's a big money maker for the league. I think that's number one. Number two, I think they also are encouraging more two-way guys, because I think despite Ohtani being dominant at both things, being elite at both things, it's kind of fun to have two-way players.
Yeah.
I think it's an incentive for I think Major League Baseball wants to see more guys like this. I just don't know how many human beings can execute this at a high level. I really don't. Enough for it to like be a rule about carrying roster spots. I don't mind the Ohtani rule in a sense that if he starts in the game as a starting pitcher and they take him out, they can still use him on the team. But to me, unless everybody has this guy or a guy like this, it doesn't make sense. It's like it's kind of like in the MLS going like, oh, here's a designated player to have, but only one team utilizes it, and so they get the advantage, and there's not enough players out there that they can get to fill that role. From that perspective, it is kind of an unfair rule, and it's a rule that just caters to one team, and it needs to be fixed. He needs to count for something.
Yeah.
He needs to count either as a pitcher or a position player. You don't get an extra roster spot because the guy does both. It's just added to more stuff to try to make this guy the center of attention. I get what they were trying to do initially to try to encourage it, but the fact that only one team has it, that's something that needs to be revoked. And the thing is, when they make these rule changes, I bet you 28 other teams would be like, we're in favor of changing this rule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And like Go Aztecs just said, Dave Roberts' response was, we're more than willing for other teams to go out and find a player who could do both.
Oh, yeah, because you guys went out and found this guy. Nobody else found him. You guys were just scouring through the globe, and you magically found Shohei Ohtani.
Dave Roberts is becoming more and more detached from reality as the years go on.
He probably thinks he's doing something that's like really good that not everybody else could do, too.
It's unbelievable.
Number 3.
PGA Tour CEO Brian Rolap says the door could reopen for LIV Golf League players to return, signaling a potential shift as uncertainty grows around LIV Golf's long-term future, despite assurances from their CEO, Scott O'Neill, that funding remains intact for this year. Recent returns of stars like Brooks Koepka and the expected comeback of Patrick Reed highlight the possible pathway back, though earlier restrictions and deadlines leave big names like Jon Rahm and Bryson DeChambeau in limbo. Rolap emphasized that any decision will be driven by what strengthens the PGA Tour, while also acknowledging LIV Golf's role in pushing the PGA Tour to evolve for players and fans. If LIV Golf starts to fade, should the PGA Tour welcome players back with open arms or make them pay a steep price by leaving in the first place?
Bring them back. Don't charge them a fine. Be an adult. That's what I would tell the PGA. Let's not pretend, by the way, that the people that stayed in the PGA Tour are morally superior to the people that were getting money for their family. Okay? Let's make that perfectly clear, because I hate when Rory sits there on his high pedestal making a fortune in the PGA going like, I would never do that. I'm such a good person. Now, you would if you needed the money, because everybody would do that. Let's not act like you're morally superior because you're the PGA. They had to do this because you were not paying your golfers what you should be paying your golfers. They flipped the rules. You lost a bunch of golfers. Then you panicked, came up with your own system to get more golfers out, more golfers to get paid more because you didn't want to lose even more golfers to competition. And now that they're coming back, you're like, let me get on my high horse. We're so superior than everybody else. Here's your fine for leaving us. What a crock of crap. Bring them back. Make the PGA Tour better. They got their money. Let's move on. Let's be adults here. Do you disagree with any of that?
Nope, not at all.
Tired of the PGA Tour being morally superior to everybody else. We're so much better and virtuous than you. Shut up. Shut up. Give me a break. Anybody offers you triple what you're making right now to do your job, you would take it in a heartbeat. Give me that crap. PGA. Fine. Noon lunchtime hour when we come back.
San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
New lunchtime hour of the Fan is brought to you by the Craft Taco. Bold flavors, 2 locations, Sorrento Valley and inside Balboa Park's Natural History Museum.
I'm waiting for the tacos. Where are the damn tacos at?
Where are the tacos at? It is a Tuesday. Taco Tuesday. I got USD baseball today, which means I'm probably going to be picking up lunch on the way out of here. So, I think Kraft Taco delivered to USD.
They knew what was good for them.
That's right. Dang it. That's right. I bet you they do. I'd have to look on the Grubhub app. Get your tacos. We are broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Let's get to Fernando. Let's talk about Fernando a little bit. So, there were some interesting things about Fernando. Because people are freaking out that he's not putting the ball over the fence. And when you look at first glance, like his numbers, and he's looked bad. He looked bad at the beginning part of the season. I think he's starting to heat up a little bit now. But at first glance, the numbers say 239 average, 296 slug, no home runs, and it screams, this is kind of a big problem. But when you dig into this, it starts to flip a little bit on how you really look at how Fernando has gone about his business. The data says he should be dominating. Only 1 game all season without a 95-plus mile-an-hour batted ball. Only 2 games without a 100 mile-an-hour plus ball. Missiles every night per hitting coach, Steven Souza Jr. 41% sweet spot rate. That's higher than 2021 when he hit 42 home runs. He's actually hitting the sweet spot better than he did when he had a career year. Line drive rate, career high. Ground ball rate, normal. Fly ball rate, down. He's hitting the ball harder and more consistently than ever, but the ball isn't getting in the air enough to leave the yard. That's the definition of elite process and terrible results. So what's actually happening with Fernando? This is where things get interesting and perfect for a talking point. Tatis is not chasing. He's not expanding the zone. He's using the whole field. He's staying inside the ball. He's trusting his swing. He's doing everything you want a hitter to do. Tatis is basically rejecting the idea that he needs to sell out for pull power. And what he's saying is, when I'm right, I drive the ball to right center, and the power comes naturally. And the staff agrees. When he's right, you can't really defend Fernando. You can't pull out the little card out of your hat like, oh, I'm going to stand here. He's going to hit it right at me. Pull side power should come organically, not forced. And we talked about how he hadn't really had too much pull side power. But here's the tension, and it's real. He has never gone this long without a home run to start a season. And his slugging percentage, nearly 200 points below his norm. So now you've got the real question of, is he one adjustment away from an explosion, or is this approach limiting his power update or power output? The mental side might be the biggest development here for Fernando, where this becomes a bigger story. In the past, Tatis' frustration could snowball out of control. We've seen that before. We saw what happened in St. Louis. 2023 collapse. Emotions could impact his performance. Now, he gets mad. He resets instantly, staying engaged, staying positive, not letting results change his approach. And he mentioned this in a quote. You have to get pissed off, but you learn. And that's the growth that you're seeing with Fernando. And inside the clubhouse, coaches call him infectious. Energy has been consistently positive, and he's not dragging the team down despite maybe struggling at the plate, even though I think he's been hitting a little bit better as of late. They're only 5 minutes into that game, and they're already down.
Thanks, bud.
Hey, that's the Chelsea Padres now. So
you could have ignored it.
Why aren't they wearing brown and gold?
Because they're wearing black today.
Oh. And we're black for their own funeral?
Yeah.
It's not a good month for Frank's sports teams, I'll say. Did Islanders didn't make the postseason, even though they won more games than a lot of the teams?
Thanks.
Mets are in a downward spiral.
Thanks.
Chelsea's down 1-0.
Thanks.
What about Inter?
They've just started here. Hold on, let me take a look.
Are they down like 4-0 already?
Stop it. No, there's not a score.
Okay. What other teams do you root for?
The Knicks embarrassed themselves last night.
Okay.
In more ways than one.
Hofstra got anything going on?
No, just baseball, which is doing baseball things.
We interrupt this Fernando Tatis Jr. breakdown to go through Frank's sports conversation. Now, this is why I bring it up, Frank. It's always darkest before the dawn. It's going to get better for you.
I need a dawn at some point.
Still approaching midnight, I guess.
I've won 2 Super Bowls with the Giants.
Excuse me. You've won 2. You have won 2 Super Bowls.
Yes, I have.
Oh, nice. Congratulations. Where's your trophy? Where's your ring? You know where your ring's at?
Don't worry about it. I've won a couple of City A titles. I've won a couple of Premier League titles. I've won a couple of Champions Leagues. Those are great. My 2 biggest are baseball and hockey.
Okay.
And I get embarrassed every single year. Just want one.
Oh, you just want one?
I just want one.
Oh, you just want one?
Yes.
Oh. You just listed all the championships if you won. You just want one. Okay.
I just want one.
My favorite team's been here since 1969. Hasn't even sniffed winning a World Series.
You're better than the Mariners. You've made it at least twice.
Played the 2 best teams ever assembled in the Yankees and the Tigers. Didn't even win one. Got swept by the Yankees in '98.
You made it though. You're better than the Mariners.
You have won championships.
Right. I would like to see it.
So that's the Padres.
I would like to see it.
Like college team finally made a national championship, got blown out, didn't even show up. So that's kind of an L too. Plus they're just continue to fall behind because college athletics is dumb moving forward. Okay. What else? I've never seen any of my teams win a championship. Oh, and by the way, my favorite sport of all time, my team left. They're not even here anymore.
I very nearly went through that with the hockey team.
Nearly?
Yeah, nearly.
But you still have a team. You still have a team. And you've seen 2 Super Bowls.
3,000 miles away, actually.
I mean, it's still your team, though.
Oh, I know.
They still are the New York Islanders.
Yeah.
They didn't move to Philly and become the Philly Islanders.
No.
It's okay. One positive. I agree. The Mets won't get regulated.
Relegated.
They should get regulated. Let's get back to Fernando. Your sports are depressing, but they're not more depressing than mine. All right. So Fernando said you have to get pissed off, but you learn. And that's the growth that you're seeing out of Fernando Tatis Jr. And inside the clubhouse, as I mentioned before, coaches have called him infectious. Energy has been consistently positive. He's not dragging the team down despite maybe struggling. And why this could be dangerous for the league is if and when this corrects, because he's hitting the ball hard and he's hitting line drives, those line drives become fly balls, and those missiles, as Steven Souza Jr. has called them, become home runs. And if that happens while maintaining plate discipline, and all fields approach, which he currently has, you're looking at a more complete and potentially more dangerous version of Fernando than in 2021. This is why I want to stop the whole argument about like he hasn't been the same since the PED scandal, yada, 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 yada. Guy's hitting the ball harder than he's ever had in his life. So the bottom line is it's not a slump per se, but he's changing his approach at the plate. It's a maturity test, philosophical shift, profile mismatch, and it's the calm before an offensive explosion. Because the numbers look bad, the swing looks elite, and the mindset looks better than ever. And as we went through this, Frank, I have to say, when you look at the way that his approach is, he has all of the mental side of things down. He has the approach down. He has the spraying all fields down. The home runs will come. He's putting in the pure process, and he will start getting the benefit of it relatively soon, in my opinion. I mean, he's putting together great at-bats. I like the way he's swinging the stick. He's swinging it a lot harder than he has in the past. His line drives are high. His barrel percentage is up. It's only a matter of time, and you want that to happen naturally instead of force something that doesn't need to be forced.
Right. And I think he's a little bit further along and better off in that progression than what we talked about with Jake Cronenworth yesterday. If you want to take a look at mindset, physical action, and results, Jake is kind of broken in all three. He's got the mindset that he has a mindset that he shouldn't have, being a power hitter. His swing doesn't look good, and he's not getting any results for it. Fernando at least has the mindset and he has the good swing. He's just not getting the results for it. So it's good to hear that whatever was ailing him last year appears to be figured out. Is when it comes to mentally, now he's just getting unlucky as far as the results are concerned. And he's doing a very good job of spraying the ball around, hitting towards all fields. He is still getting more of his hits to the pull side. I'm not really concerned about his power, because when Fernando hits a ball, when he gets a hold of one, it's going a mile. He's just has not, while he's been barreling up balls, he just hasn't been getting a real hold of one just yet. So I'm not concerned about him offensively at all now, especially after hearing this.
I'm not concerned about him either. I was never really concerned about him to begin with, but I tell you what, I think he is. I think the last 2 years has been a growing moment for Fernando in terms of being the overall all around baseball player. Yeah, like he had a ton of home runs in 2021. The guy's, his launch angle was ridiculous. His attack angle, he was looking for the fly ball. He was hitting it out of the park with power. I mean, he's got all the same power metrics. That's the big thing that Frank just talked about. Like his bat speed's high. His hard hit percentage is high. His barrel rate is high. He's just swinging at a more of a line drive approach. And when you hit line drives like that, eventually when you miss on your approach as a line drive hitter, you just miss, it's going to be elevated, and that ball's going out. That's why you want line drive swings, because when you have line drive swings, you're looking to try to spray the field with hitting the ball hard, just slightly getting under the ball, instead of popping it straight up in the air, you accidentally hit the ball over the fence. And because you're swinging with power, you're swinging at good pitches, and you're looking to hit gap to gap. And that is where he's kind of having that old school approach of, I'm going to go up there and hit well, and the home runs are going to come, as opposed to a lot of guys trying to change their swing just for home runs to try to get a contract, as you've seen in Major League Baseball. Fernando is working on his ability to do a lot of different things, to be that all-around player, and that's what you're arguably paying him to do. I mean, he says he's at his best when he drives the ball to right center. We've seen him do that a lot this year. I mean, if you pull up his spray chart, it's a lot to the opposite field. And to me, that's when a lot of these players on this Padres team are hitting at their best, especially guys like Manny and Fernando. I think Xander Bogaerts to some extent as well. But I like what I've seen out of Fernando. I'm not worried about him not hitting home runs because I think the home runs will come. You go to his Baseball Savant page, he's in like the 85th percentile or higher in almost everything. His hard hit percentage, Frank, did you know what percentile he's in?
I would have to assume somewhere in like the mid 90s.
100.
Oh,
he's
God.
in the 100th percentile for hard hit percentage. 67.7% of the time he's hitting the ball hard, which means it's coming off the bat more than 93 miles an hour. 67% of the time. He's doing what he needs to do. The home run numbers will come. And guess what? Like we talked about with Manny Machado, the first segment of the day. Where do they get to play the next 5 games? Colorado and Mexico City, where the altitude is high and the ball's gonna fly. We'll see what Fernando's got up his sleeve for the next couple of days. But I just feel like a lot of people, are thinking more about, he's not putting the ball over the fence. Why isn't he putting the ball over the fence? This is why we have these conversations, Frank, about the analytics and the numbers. It's for these conversations of instead of listening to, I don't want to say dumb. I'm going to use the term ill-informed people saying, he doesn't have any home runs. He's cooked. He doesn't have the same power. He's not like he used to be when he was on PEDs. Look, he was never really that good because they see one stat as home runs. This is where you use this information going, he's hitting the ball well. He has a different approach. He's got an approach that actually probably benefits the team a little bit more. And with that, it's going to come with other metrics. You're going to see the home run numbers jump. You're going to, especially when it starts heating up temperature-wise across the country and where he's playing. But you look at his spray chart, it's all over the place. I mean, he's hitting the ball all over the place. He's got his doubles to left and one down the right field line. All of his singles are up the middle or to the right side. I think Fernando's hitting the ball extremely well. And, his numbers are jumping off the charts. Exit velocity is averaging 94.1. He's in the top 6% of all Major League Baseball there. Max exit velo, top 6% in all of Major League Baseball. His hard hit percentage, top 1% in all of Major League Baseball. He's putting up the numbers that you want to see from an analytical standpoint. So I think the home run numbers are going to come. And as we've mentioned with a lot of these guys, if there was reasons for concerns because of their ability, we would mention it. And there's not, and the numbers say so. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. When we come back, I do want to get into something that was brought up this week that we've talked about on the air, and that is the conversation of roster construction and how one team in the American League has done it and how the Padres have done it. A lot of fans want to be that American League team. I'd rather be the Padres. I'll explain when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Summer Sports Station 97 through the Fan. The San Diego Gulls are heading to the playoffs, but there's one big problem. They're going in cold. 3 straight losses to end the regular season, giving up goals in bunches. And now they face Colorado in a best-of-3 series, all in Loveland, Colorado. That means no room for slow starts, no time to figure it out. Now, the good news, this team can score. We've seen it with Pastujov, Bailey, Phillips. They've been producing all season, and they just got a boost with Tristan Leno back in the lineup after he went up and helped Anaheim with a victory against Nashville last week. But playoff hockey is different. It's tighter, it's faster, and defense wins games. So here's the question. Can the Gulls clean it up in time? Because if they can, they're dangerous. If they can't, this playoff run might be over before it really starts, as the San Diego Gulls are now headed back to the Calder Cup playoffs. Not exactly, though, the way you wanted. After clinching their spot, San Diego dropped 3 straight to close the regular season. 5-1 loss to Tucson, 4-1 loss to Ontario, and a 6-4 loss to Coachella Valley. So, yes, they're in, but they're entering the playoffs trying to regain their edge. The good news is, Frank, though, this is a franchise that hasn't been in the playoffs for a long time. It's good to see that they made it, as well as the parent club, the Anaheim Ducks, this organization as a whole trending in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure. And they also started the week off. They started the week off great, actually. Before we get to what happened on the ice, head coach Matt McIlvain, who we had on the show at the beginning of the season, signed a multi-year contract extension to stay in the Anaheim Ducks organization. And honestly, it makes a lot of sense. Has improved the point total every single season with the Gulls, has led the team back to the playoffs, and now has developed multiple NHL-ready stars. So this is a clear message that the Ducks believe in the system that they have and also the development pipeline, because it's one thing to train these players. You also need to be able to coach them and show them what to do during the game as well. And Matt McIlvain has done a very, very good job of that thus far in his tenure here.
Yeah, and roster movement. You got some reinforcements arriving for this team before the playoffs. More movement as we head into the playoffs. Tristan Leno returns from Anaheim. Huge boost to the blue line for this team. Roger McQueen has signed his entry-level deal after a strong debut stretch, so he will be with the club. And young players continuing to cycle in and contribute. This roster is still evolving even now, but they're getting the best players back from Anaheim in the playoffs, and with adding a guy like Roger McQueen at this point in the season. Look, as much as we've talked about the goals all year, they've done most of the damage without Roger McQueen. You add him to this lineup, it's a little bit different of a goals team that Colorado is used to facing.
Yeah, absolutely. And they still have a lot of their hot players playing hot. As you said, despite the losses, some key names are still producing. Sasha Pastujov finished with the team lead in points at 55, still driving the offense consistently. Justin Bailey, 25 goals this year, one of the top goal scorers in the American Hockey League. Matthew Phillips, over 50 points on a 5-game point streak entering the playoffs. And Ryan Carpenter as well, veteran presence, coming off a 3-assist game to close out the season in a loss to Coachella Valley. So despite how the Gulls are playing right now, coming in as that number 7 seed, they still have some players who can really contribute to this team.
The concern, though, is the defensive consistency issue heading into the playoffs. They're giving up a lot of goals and in bunches. They gave up 5 goals, 4 goals, and 6 goals all last week, which is not going to get you a lot of wins in playoff hockey. Goaltending has had bright spots, but the team defense hasn't been tight enough late in the year.
Yeah, no, absolutely not, unfortunately. And that's a lot of goals to be allowing this late in the season, 15 goals in 3 games. That is not the way you want to go into the first round of the postseason against the Colorado Eagles.
Now, the playoff matchup is just like the wild card for Major League Baseball. It's a best of 3. All the games are going to be in Loveland, Colorado, at the Eagles. The Eagles are the number 2 seed in this tournament. The Gulls got the last spot in this tournament as the 7. So going to be a tough matchup. They're definitely a severe underdog. And with the short series, there's no room for error.
No, this is all about fast starts, defensive discipline, and capitalizing on momentum swings. It's playoff hockey. It's the best type of playoff. It doesn't matter whether it's in the NHL or the AHL. Playoff hockey is absolutely fantastic. And they're going up against another strong organization. They've been building a strong organization now with the Ducks and Gulls making the playoffs in the same year. You just had the Colorado Avalanche win the President's Trophy, and now their affiliate is the number 2 seed in the Calder Cup playoffs. So they've been building very, very strong as well.
Should we be concerned about the Gulls entering the playoffs on a losing streak? Kind of, but not really. I mean, momentum matters, context matters, but the reality of the situation is on multiple fronts. From an on-ice perspective, they've already shown that they can score in bunches. They've shown that they can win big games, and they just show that they can respond under pressure. I think they've done that most of the season. But at best of 3, you don't get time to figure it out. So if they don't clean up the defensive side immediately, this could be a short run. If they do, they are a dangerous team with the talent that they have. I will also say it's great to see the Gulls back in the playoffs. I think that was kind of the main goal going into the season for the Gulls is let's make the postseason and see what they got. And anytime you get to the postseason and bracket play, anything can happen. So banking, it's better. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's Urban Sports Station 97.3, The Fan. All right, let's get to this conversation that kind of started, Frank, like last week. Remember that guy that was, constantly going like, why can't we be the Mariners?
Yes.
What place are the Mariners in right now? I know it's early, but
don't worry about
what's the Mariners record?
Don't worry about it.
It's 10-14. What have the Mariners never done?
Make a World Series.
There you go. Okay. The prospect hugging, if you will, or the like. I have this feeling that people think that just because a couple of players have made it through to other teams that have been prospects and have turned out to be really good and it saved them money, that you can just turn players out like nobody's business, which is not the case. And to prove it's not the case, you look at the case study that is the Baltimore Orioles. The Baltimore Orioles are a team that loaded up on draft picks. It's a team that loaded up on a rebuild. It's a team that accumulated all these top prospects. And what did they finish last year? They weren't very good, right?
No.
I can't remember what they finished last year.
Great.
Last year, Baltimore went 75-87. They did not use any of those pieces to acquire guaranteed major league talent. And what I mean by guaranteed major league talent, guys that have been there and played before that you know what you're going to get at the major leagues. They wanted to keep all of these young core studs because they wanted to save some money with their roster. That's fine. Their prerogative. Not against it. But I'd rather be the Padres and use the prospects as prospect capital more than hogging prospects. I mean, Baltimore's got guys like Kobe Mayo, Colton Cowser, Heston Kjerstad, Samuel Basallo, Dylan Beavers. These are all guys that are expected to be the next generation of Major League Baseball players. And they're all studs over there in Baltimore, right? Right? Well, now, it is early in the season. They're a game under 500. But at this point in the year, Kobe Mayo's hitting 157 with a 455 OPS in 51 at-bats. He was expected to be that guy coming up that's going to be a stud. Colton Cowser in 45 at-bats this year in 178 with a 469 OPS. Heston Kjerstad is hitting 218 in his career in the major leagues. 218 in his career. Samuel Basallo hitting 140 so far this season with a 532 OPS. He does have 3 home runs, but 140 to 532 OPS. Dylan Beavers in 50 at-bats is hitting 220 with a 610 OPS. They have done the minor league situation over there in Baltimore. Doesn't necessarily yield as many results. And the point of this conversation and why we wanted to bring it up was the fact that they're going all in on prospects. Now, a couple of them will hit, right? I mean, you've seen a couple of these guys do very well, at least to begin. Like Adley Rutschman started off really good. Thought he might be the guy. They have a couple of good players over there in Baltimore that are putting up good numbers. But overall, you are taking a risk. And as we've mentioned before, and I'll mention it again, 70% of the prospects that come up through the ranks don't make it as big leaguers. 70%. I mean, I just rattled off about 5 young prospects for the Orioles. All 5 of them have not put together good numbers. I mean, out of the 10 that they have probably brought up in the last couple of years, 3 of them have probably turned into players that you'd be like, oh, yeah, this guy's worked. And you get 7 that aren't. I didn't even mention Jackson Holiday. I don't even think he's up with the big leagues anymore. He's struggled since being added to the Orioles multiple times. So for like some of the people that go like, oh, well, you know, like it'd be nice if we had this young talented kind of, it would be nice if we had like the best everything, wouldn't it, Frank? Wouldn't it be great?
Huh?
Every team's got flaws in some capacity. You either go with somewhat of the guarantees, play a little bit conservative by being aggressive with trades like the Padres do, which is kind of a weird way of saying it. Would you say that would be the case? They've been aggressively conservative in a sense that we're going to go get players that we know can play at the big league level instead of just rolling the dice and hoping that these guys stick. I think there's something to that. I think you could acquire some of these players, but look at the Boston Red Sox. Who has the Boston Red Sox acquired for all of the talent they have shipped away, that they knew were good players at the major league level? They let Xander Bogaerts walk, so let's throw him out of the list. But, what are they getting for Mookie Betts? Nothing. They've made trades where they've shipped off some of their better players that they weren't going to give to a contract, and what did they get for it? Nothing. Anybody want to talk about the Nationals? Nobody likes talking about that. The only time people like talking about the Nationals, Frank, is when James Wood hits a home run. Or C.J. Abrams does well. And C.J. Abrams done fine. But you look at the Washington Nationals, that trade looks better and better every year because of what Juan Soto has turned into for the Padres. You got Dylan Cease out of Juan Soto. You got Michael King out of Juan Soto. You got Randy Vasquez out of Juan Soto. We'll see what you get with Johnny Brito. He might be the odd man out in this sense. But these are guys that have helped you during your time frame more than anybody that you shipped away to the Washington Nationals. Would it be nice to have James Wood right now? Yeah, probably. C.J. Abrams probably not a bad pick, but they've had a lot of guys not go their way. In fact, they have already sent off Mackenzie Gore. He's a Ranger now. Not even with the Nationals anymore. So it's a conversation of it's not a guarantee either way. And the way the Padres build their roster, they go after guys they know that can play at a big league level, and they roll the dice with that instead of hoping and praying that everybody coming up turns into a stud when statistically only 30% of those guys are going to be good. And that's really the whole point of this conversation, Frank, is you could be the Orioles, load up on prospects, hoard the talent, but eventually, even when you do that, you have to make a move because they can't all play at the same time. And that's something else that Baltimore's dealing with right now.
Yeah. They're all coming up together. Most of them are log jammed together, and a lot of them are blocking each other. So they've found a way to turn having so many prospects into a bad thing. Because a lot of them were supposedly good, and now they're just not panning out. Like Sam Basayo, he's supposed to be the next big thing as catcher. Well, so was Adley Rutschman.
Right.
And now Rutschman's barely playing.
They were shopping Rutschman during the offseason.
Yeah, exactly. And now Rutschman can't play because they're trying to get Basayo at bats and reps. So they have turned a wealth into a detriment for them. And it's not just because they're not panning out. It's because there are too many of them.
There are too many of them, and then they can't play enough. You look at some of the play. The National, James Wood's been okay so far this year. Got 112 plate appearances already, which is kind of crazy. He's hitting .237 with a 366 OBP, 527 slug. Got a 154 OPS plus. Be nice to have him, right? But what are the Nationals doing with these guys that you shipped away? C.J. Abrams been good too. Is C.J. Abrams going to be on the Nationals in 2 years? Are they going to get rid of him too? If you are sending these guys off to a rudderless ship, you're still winning these trades because they're not gonna come back to bite you. Abrams could get traded this trade deadline. With 2 years of control, this could be a good time for them to stock up on other prospects, right? Where are the Nationals at with their prospect ranks? Where are all these guys? Kind of the point of the conversation. I like the way the Padres put together their roster. I really do. And the reality is, for people that like want to complain about contracts, in order to get some of these players, it's the cost of doing business. In order to get Xander Bogaerts on your team, you had to pay them $280 million. They decided to do it over a lengthier point of time so they could pay less per year so they can afford other players. There's no clear-cut way to assemble the best roster aside from just throwing tons of money at your roster like the Dodgers have. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. When we come back, we need a contestant for the Midday Sports Standoff. If you can call in and take me down in trivia, you will be qualified for a chance to win this month's grand prize, a pair of field-level seats, the Padres and Phillies on Memorial Day. Take me down in trivia when we come back, and you could potentially win or you will win an opportunity. You'll qualify for a chance to win this month's grand prize, pair of field level seats, Padres, Phillies, Memorial Day. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We'll do that when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego Summer Sports Station, 97 through the Fan. San Diego High School sports starting to show a new trend, and it's not just star players anymore. It's complete programs taking over. Look at Helix Baseball. 4 home runs in a game, deep pitching, and a 75-year tradition that's still producing dominance today. Or Francis Parker, who just beat a higher division Otay Ranch team 8-3 with 2 home runs and a statement win that could change their playoff perception. And in basketball, Jada Williams, one of San Diego's top guards, is now heading to LSU after dominating at the college level and choosing them over UConn and North Carolina. Even Cathedral Catholic Baseball has over 10 players with 4.0 GPAs and Ivy League commits everywhere you look. So the question is simple. Is San Diego High School sports shifting from individual stars to full programs built for dominance? This week in San Diego High School sports feels like a snapshot of 2 things happening at once. Programs establishing dominance and others proving they belong in the conversation at a higher level. And we'll start on the baseball diamond with a statement win from Francis Parker.
Yeah, the Lancers took down Otay Ranch High School 8-3 behind a complete performance, 2 home runs at the plate, and 5 strong innings on the mound from Oliver Pinez. And this wasn't just a routine win. This was a resume win. Otay Ranch is a Division III level opponent with size and talent, but Francis Parker controlled the pace almost immediately, scoring in every inning except for the second inning. And head coach Eric Threets, made it clear that this team is built to compete. And here's the bigger picture. This is what playoff seeding is all about. Wins like this don't just boost confidence. They shift perception. And Francis Parker sitting in Division IV, but they're showing that they can play with anyone in Division III and possibly beyond.
And that matters definitely in April. Yep. Now shifting to one of the most impressive storylines in all of San Diego baseball right now, the tradition and production coming out of Helix High School. Helix Baseball recently celebrated 75 years of program history, and they backed it up with an 8-1 win over El Cap in front of a packed crowd and CIF leadership in attendance. But this program isn't just honoring history, they're actively adding to it. 4 home runs in 1 game, of pitching staff locked in, and a culture that stretches back decades with multiple CIF titles and legendary coaching names like Bob Lucas and Jeff Boutel. And here's the key takeaway. Helix Baseball isn't just a nostalgic program anymore. It's producing modern-day dominance with serious depth and confidence. That family tree culture they talk about, it's real, and it shows every time they take the field. But on to the girls' side of sports, the recruiting and transfer landscape continues to shift in a big way.
Yeah, former La Jolla Country Day star Jada Williams is heading to LSU, choosing the Tigers over national powerhouses like UConn and North Carolina. She averaged over 15 points per game and nearly 8 assists last season, and is now stepping into one of the most visible programs in women's college basketball under Kim Mulkey. The bigger storyline here isn't just where she went. It's how San Diego continues to produce elite level guard play that impacts national programs immediately. And she's not alone. Former local standouts are scattered across Texas, Louisville, Cal State LA, Long Beach State, and many more programs, many leading their teams in assists and production. So San Diego women's basketball talent isn't developing quietly anymore. It's producing impact players at the highest levels.
On the academic athletic balance side, few programs nationally compared to what we're seeing at Cathedral Catholic for their baseball team. Don's 18-1 and ranked top 10 in California. But what separates them is what's happening off the field. 11 players with a 4.0 GPA or higher. Ivy League commits. Stanford, Princeton, Columbia, Rice, New York University. The list goes on and on. This isn't just a baseball powerhouse. It's a college pipeline wrapped in an elite academic system. And that raises the bigger question for high school sports. Are we starting to see programs where academics and athletics are equally defining success? Cathedral Catholic might be the clearest example of that model working at the highest level. And finally, in track and field, San Diego continues to show national level speed. At Mount Sac, Del Norte set a new San Diego section record in the 4x800 relay, running a 7:44.70. And athletes like Sage Creek's Josiah Bowman continue to break barriers in the 800 and mile events, now posting some of the fastest times in the state and the country. The depth and distance running now is in San Diego is arguably the strongest it's ever been. Biggest question of the week. Are we seeing a shift in San Diego high school sports where depth, not just stars, is what defines elite programs? Can't believe how fast the show's going today. It's already 12:42. It's crazy. Get a lot of contestants that want to win. The Padre ticket ones drive the game, it seems like. Got to keep that up as much as possible. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3. The Fan. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. We got 4 segments left. On the show, we've talked a lot about Fernando. We've talked a lot about Manny. We've dabbled in some Randy Vasquez today. We even had an interesting topic about the lineup and some interesting statistics that we've seen out of the Padres that helped us build a lineup. Now, whether or not the Padres do it will remain to be seen, but we have somebody that we think should bat leadoff for the Padres. If you missed it, go back and listen. Go back and watch on YouTube, youtube.com/@B_SURP. If you go there, give us subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate it. Try to grow the channel even more. We got over 1,000 last week, which is great. We're up to 1,032. Try to get to the next one. Let's try to get to 1,500 as we try to climb and grow our audience and try to pass along our content to as many people as possible that might not even know that we're on. And it makes it easy. You could throw this on at work. It's really easy to listen to in the background. You don't necessarily need a traditional radio anymore. But when you're driving around, keep it tuned here to 97.3 The Fan. We've got great content for you. Mostly baseball content, mostly Padres content, live, local, every single day. Keep it right here on 97.3 The Fan. Our YouTube page has a lot of new videos that come out. Yesterday, we posted some about the NFL, college football, and Major League Baseball. Today, we will have some on San Diego FC and the San Diego Gulls. Tomorrow will be our college day, where we have videos on YouTube recapping what has happened in the Aztecs world for sports, USD, UCSD. Thursday, we dabble into the NHL and the NBA. And then on Friday, that's Motorsports Friday with Frank. Frankie Left Turns over there dives into what's going on in motorsports, as well as some high school sports, and as well. So that's kind of like our list of things that get played on YouTube throughout the week. So extra content for you, a local perspective on what's happening in the sports world. And if you're a member on YouTube for the Braden Surprenant Show, you get a lot of this stuff on Monday as we post it. which is fun. So that's kind of one of the perks of being a member on the YouTube page. So we appreciate you guys doing that, following the show, liking all of our stuff. Again, you can listen to us in podcast form. Also, I had some people ask about that. Wherever you get your podcast, you can find us, the Braden Surprenant Show. So be sure to favorite us wherever you get your podcast. All right, Frankie Left Turns. Let's get to today's Midday Sports Standoff.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
No, he's no good. Are you kidding me?
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
All right, Frank, who we got playing today?
We have Jose in Imperial Beach
Hip, hip.
today. Jose, how are you doing today, bud?
Doing good, Braden. First time joining this game, so I'm excited. Nervous, too.
You know how to play?
I think.
Okay, so so I'm going to give you guys a topic that have multiple answers. You'll give a guess, he'll take a guess, and you'll go back and forth until you get all of them right, or until one of you gets 3 strikes. If you get 3 strikes, you're out. If you end at a tie, we're going to have there's 10 possible answers to this one, so there could be a tie. If you get a tie, it's just as good as a win, so you'll be qualified, okay?
Got it.
All right. So today's topic, we spoke about the bullpen and how good the bullpen has been here this year. There are 10 teams in Major League Baseball that have allowed 5 or less home runs in the 8th inning, in the 7th inning or later. Who are those 10 teams? Jose, we'll start with you.
I'll start with the Dodgers.
The Dodgers have allowed 5 home runs.
Just hanging on.
Yes, with in the 7th inning or later.
I'll go with the easy one. That's why it's popped up on social media this week. The San Diego Padres.
There's a reason for that. The Padres have not allowed a home run this season in the 7th inning or later.
That being said, they're about to play
moment
in high altitude in Colorado and Mexico City. So when that happens this week, we're not the jinx. We did not talk this into existence.
Jose?
Toronto Blue Jays.
That's a good guess, but no, Toronto has allowed more than 5.
They've been struggling
Braden?
too. Atlanta's got a good bullpen, although Raisel Iglesias just went to the IL.
Atlanta has allowed 2. They're the only ones that have allowed 2. Jose?
Detroit Tigers.
Their bullpen is
Yeah, another good guess, but no, unfortunately not. So there's 4 with 3, and there's 3 more that have allowed 5.
Surprisingly, during the 11-game losing streak, it hasn't been the New York Mets.
Mets have allowed 5 home runs. We're one of the 3 teams left with 5. Jose, you need this one here.
Have all 5 been in the 11-game losing streak?
Shut up.
How about the Orioles? Baltimore Orioles.
No, Jose, I'm sorry. All good guesses, and all were actually close to that threshold, but not inside the 5 home run threshold. That is 3 strikes. Braden, you want to clean up here?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I did see this yesterday. Not on the sheet, but like I saw it on social media because it kept popping up. So I've gotten accustomed to seeing this list now. Miami.
3.
Milwaukee.
3.
Minnesota.
3.
Minnesota. That's so funny every time. The Angels actually were on that list.
5. There's 2 left.
Seattle was on that list.
3.
And Tejas was on that list.
5. So the 10 teams that have allowed 5 or less home runs in the 7th inning or later, starting from most to least, the Angels, Dodgers, Mets, Rangers have all allowed 5. Seattle, Minnesota, Milwaukee, Miami have allowed 3. Atlanta's allowed 2. And the Padres have not allowed any. How about that?
I'm not surprised. We look at Mason Miller's stats. They haven't changed since yesterday. And every time I look at them, I find something new every single time. I agree. Shout out to Jose for not cheating. I thought Jose did a great job. A lot of good guesses there.
He did, very, very good guesses. Quality bullpens just unfortunately have not performed well.
The more I look at Mason Miller's stats, the more I go like, how does anybody make contact with this guy? Although he has given up some hits he's given up 2 hits this year.
It's the legend of the Reaper. It's growing.
Yeah, that's right. He's been fantastic. But his Padre uniform numbers have been insane. I mean, we talked a lot about this in general, about how well he has been, like how well he's pitched, how much better he got. But look at Mason Miller's stats in terms of like what has happened since he started working with Ruben Diego and the Padres. I mean, last year, do you know what his numbers were before the Padres acquired him? Last season in 2025?
I can't honestly say yes to that.
1-2 with a 3.76 ERA and 38 1/3 innings pitched. 59 strikeouts, 18 walks. Had a 1.19 ERA plus, which was the second lowest of his career. He had a 3.76 ERA, which was the highest ERA of his career at that point. He had given up 16 earned runs on 21 hits and 4 home runs. He goes to the Padres, and in a Padres uniform, he's 1-0 with a 0.52 ERA. 34 2/3 innings pitched, 2 earned runs on 9 hits. By the way, those 2 earned runs were on 1 hit. It was the Lourdes Gurriel Jr. home run in his second outing with the Padres in a Padres uniform. The morning show talked about this as part of that conversation of the David Schoenfield's article about like potential trade candidates, right? Like that. They went into like, well, it would make more sense if it was Miller because the years of control, yada, yada. But they were talking about that, and Ben asked the question, would you trade Mason Miller for Leo DeVries right now?
God, no.
Absolutely not. That is an expletive no. Would you do it for Leo DeVries and Shane Langoliers?
No.
I'm still saying no. I think that gives you a sense. If you could undo the trade tomorrow, if you're the Padres, would you do it?
No.
Absolutely not. I don't care how good Leo is in the minor leagues. I would not do that at all. I think that tells you who you think won this potential trade at this point.
Any trade package. If it were going back the other way, if it were going to Los Clemente, it would have to have Tyler Soderstrom in it.
I'd have to have a couple of their young guys for it to make any sense.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
And I would have to have Leo.
Yeah,
You're
Leo
still
back,
taking a chance on Leo, by the way.
Yeah, Leo back, Soderstrom plus a few.
I will say this. Think about those numbers we mentioned. Like 70% of the prospects coming up do not turn into great players.
Mm-hmm.
Or really everyday players in general. That still means that Leo, despite how great he has been, still has a 30% chance of making it in the big leagues. 30% chance with Leo DeVries. I think he's going to be a stud.
Probably Jack Wilson, too.
Right. Or a guarantee that you're going to have the best closer in baseball. I'll go with the guarantee over the rolling of the dice. And you know what? Leo could be like a phenomenal player one day. But still, that's when you trade for him after he plays a couple years in Vegas and they get rid of him.
A boat's a boat, but the mystery box could be anything. He could even be a boat.
You know what? The people that talk about the prospects have never watched the show Let's Make a Deal. That's it.
Oh, Jacob Wilson, not Jacob. My bad.
I thought Juan was talking about Jacob Cronenworth because everybody calls him Jacob. The only one that calls him Jacob, the fans and Baseball Reference. When we come back, 1 o'clock hour. Already a breakout season for Ramón Laureano. We'll take a deeper dive into that. We'll talk about Mason Miller and the brown and gold. And we'll get you ready for Padres baseball tonight, 5:40 against the Rockies. 1 o'clock. Braden Surprenant Show. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. Here live at the Bill House Studios. We know how. I do want to take a quick break from the Padres stuff for a second. It was an off day yesterday, so we can mix in some other stuff. And for the time being, I'm going to get to one other story that I wanted to get to that I think is interesting that we've missed a couple of weeks, that we missed a week ago, and it's starting to gain a little bit more traction. We're going to get to that in a second. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Derek in La Mesa. Derek, what's going on?
What's going on, brothers? Hey, great day in San Diego as usual. Hey, in light of yesterday's unbelievable Google performance in the trivia show, I'd like to add a couple of names that are guaranteed to get the Padres a World Series championship. Do you mind?
All right, go for it.
All right, cool. So in addition to re-signing free agent Ryan Kalisco and Phil Naiven, if we could somehow find the money to sign Cale Green, Ken Niiti, and then, of course, as he said yesterday, everyone's favorite Padre home run king, Barry Bonds, dude, we're in. That is World Series championship right there. What do you think?
I know, if you add Arson Fudge, I think you might be onto something, Derek.
Well, Arson Fudge, I got to tell you what, see if you remember this, Braden. The only other thing I got is that was probably the worst performance since my performance from about 3 years ago. If you remember, I called into the coach's show. It's been about 3 years. And your trivia question was simple. Name the Pittsburgh Pirates starting lineup. And Derek from La Mesa could not name an Pirate. Not an. Not one. It was embarrassing. Anyway, man, have a great day. Go Pods. Let's kick the crap out of the Rockies and let's keep it rolling.
I appreciate the phone call, Derek. That was amazing.
Like I said, even after yesterday, at least Derek, if he's going to mess with me about Arson Fudge, at least he's using his government name of Arson Fudge. At least he's not saying the other name.
I think the contestant was better off saying the names that Frank the Tank mentions for the Mets. Juan Soso. How many bleeps does Marte give? Zero. That's one of my favorites. One of my favorites.
I sent you.
How many bleeps does Marte give? Zero. It's so funny. You have to find some enjoyment in some of those videos.
I sent you the one yesterday where he's just hacking away at asparagus.
I saw that over the weekend.
And caring not about the health and status of his fingers.
Or the fact that they're all weird levels of he's just like cutting.
Yeah, he's just smack. He's got his fingers there too. It's like, what
other nicknames does he have?
Oh God, I don't.
That are appropriate for the radio?
No, or I don't care.
Juan Soso. That's the one that pops. The how many bleeps does Marte give is like the funniest jingle I've ever heard. And Starling Marte is not even. Is he even on the team anymore?
No.
Where's he at now?
He's.
It's not in Pittsburgh, is he?
That's right. On my week to watch him.
That was definitely Derek and La Mesa on the name the Pirates starting lineup. Which is actually a difficult question because nobody knows who plays for the Pirates anyway.
I think he's a Royal now. Yeah, he's a Royal.
Jan Soso. The funniest Frank video of Frank the Tank is not it's when he like cooks the ribs. That is the funniest I've ever seen.
Him cooking anything it's
the funniest thing, dude. He had a little chef hat on.
He's a hazard to himself.
And he was cooking at like a condominium. He was cooking at like a condominium's like centralized like pool barbecue thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like breaking down like how he makes his like great ribs. And so like he closes the lid and then he comes back And he opens the lid, like, so they fast forward to like when he's supposed to come up. So he opens the lid of the barbecue and he has this dumbfounded look on his face. And they are burnt to a crisp. I mean, they are charred, blackened. They are just, it is the most disgusting. There's nothing left. It looked like the thing got incinerated. And he's just like, what happened? And then he starts having his own little crash out that he usually does.
He has been kicked out of the Prudential Center for having crash outs. He's a Devils fan.
Seton Hall or the Devils?
Devils.
They still allow him in there for Seton Hall games?
I don't know. I really don't know. He has been warned multiple times by Citi Field that they will kick him out. They have no problem kicking him out. He was found. I don't know if I'm pretty sure you know this. He was found because he was one of the man on the streets for the news. NJ Transit had a big logjam one opening day.
Oh yeah, that's how he became famous.
Yeah,
I actually told that story last night to somebody.
Yeah,
about
and
him.
he was one of the man on the streets and had a meltdown.
No, they interviewed him.
Yeah.
That's the only reason David Portnoy made fun of him. That's why he made him part of the deal.
Yeah, exactly. He had a meltdown on Jersey Transit for him missing Met opening day. And that's how he got hired at Barstool, was from that performance.
Here's some of the nicknames. Danny Heap. He calls him Danny Heap of Bleep. That bleep starts with a Danny Heap. I don't know. Used to be a player for the Mets.
Oh. Okay.
Bo Bichette, he goes, makes Jason Bay look like a bleeping Hall of Famer. I mean, some of the things he says are really funny. I like when people I gotta tell you right now, it's gotta be so annoying to go to a Mets game and your team's getting their ass kicked and you just hear down the concourse him just losing his mind. That has to be like that. That to me is rock bottom for the Mets.
Him losing
when they have nobody at the game but Frank the Tank and he's just having a crash out and you can see him recording it into his phone.
Him losing his mind and doing it in no discernible language, because what he says is not in English. It's not. He creates his own language when he has crash outs.
One reason the YouTube chat goes, he said that the Mets hitting coach would make Tony Gwynn a 0.5 hitter. He would hit 050 if he hit for the Mets. Oh my God. The Mets are the gift that keeps on giving for LOLs and memes. It's unfortunate, Frank, that you happen to be a Mets fan. That's just, it's unfortunate. Why didn't you ever root for why weren't you like a Yankees guy?
Because my mom was a Met.
My mom is. So it's your mom's fault.
My mom's a Met fan, and the first ever game I actually attended was a Met Phillies game.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, much the same way the first ever hockey game I went to was an Islanders game, Islanders-Oilers. So that's why I'm an Islander fan.
You like the Knicks? You just like all the blue and orange teams.
Yeah, more or less. That's just more how it worked out, because all the blue and orange teams are on Long Island, not in
the Knicks
not in the city.
But
no, I understand that. I never really got into basketball, so I stuck with the Knicks because I couldn't root for a New Jersey team, the Devils, and my grandfather is a football coach on Long Island. He was a Giants fan, so I took the Giants to the Jets.
You know what? You got saved by that. You got saved by that. It could be a lot worse if you were a Jets fan. Could you imagine how funny our shows would be there in the football season if you were a diehard Jets fan?
I would be.
What's Fireman Eddie up to?
I'd be at a straitjacket. I don't know.
They only do that on kickoffs, but they're not kicking the ball off a lot because that means they would have to score.
Once a game, he's only needed for 5 seconds.
Yeah, the kick return team's in action a lot for the Jets. Yeah, Mets, Jets, and Nets fans sounds miserable. All right. That sounds terrible.
Ask Evan Roberts.
Let's get to what happened this week or what's going on this week in college athletics, and then we're going to dive back into Padres baseball and get you a preview of Padres Rockies at the end of the hour. The future of college football is once again in flux.
Oh, goody.
You're not kidding.
Wow.
Serious momentum is building towards a 24-team format for the playoff.
Let's go.
They're finally listening to me. It's about time. They're finally starting to listen to me. You're welcome. The FCS does it. I don't know why it's taken you guys so long to figure it out that it was a good idea. But this is no longer just the college sports conversation because outside power players, media executives, politicians, billionaires are now involved. What could possibly go wrong? A White House-supported presidential committee is exploring revenue solutions and expansion is front and center. It's not about football anymore. Money, control, structure the entire sport. The 14-person presidential media committee is now weighing in. It includes power conference commissioners, oh goody, Notre Dame leadership, executives from ESPN and Fox Sports, business figures, and political operatives. And the goal is to generate more revenue to offset rising costs of NIL, salary, and facilities. College football is drifting towards something closer to, obviously, semi-pro, federally influenced business model. This is in a report by Ross Dellinger this week.
Does this government not have anything bigger to worry about?
I don't think the government really needs to get into like what the college football playoff is. If they do need to dabble into something, it is getting Congress to pass some type of rule in which college athletics gets antitrust exemption.
It's so nice.
That's the only thing that you need the government for.
It's so nice to know that there's no turmoil in this world going on right now at the moment that we can focus on this. It's awesome. We're living in a great timeline.
Well, and as most major powers to be, Frank, just because one thing is happening doesn't mean everybody's attention is on that thing. They do have to run their country still. So without getting political, if you had the entire country shut down for just one event outside, nothing would be functioning. They have to run other deals too. I was
saying that there's nothing going on that's bigger than this. It's good. I mean, it's a good thing that they're focusing on this because that means there's no problems anywhere at all, period.
They're using the government for the wrong thing here. They should be using the government to get antitrust law exemptions, not for making a college football playoff. But you could have said that in 2014, but they had Condoleezza Rice on the 2014 college football playoff committee. So take that for what it's worth. Let's go back to sports. From a playoff perspective, I don't mind the 2014 playoff. It's growing belief. 24 solves everything. I would say that's a yes. At that point, I don't think you're ever going to get more. I honestly, let me put it this way. With the 2014 playoff, Frank, if you don't make the playoff, I don't think anybody's bitching about adding more teams. At that point, it's like, I don't know, buddy, maybe don't lose 4 games. But 24, I think, is the cutoff. More games, more teams, more access. We'll see how the more access goes. Oh, yeah, more access. More access for who? Okay. Hundreds of millions in revenue. By the way, I tried to explain that in college. I was like, I don't know, playoff games? I feel like you can make more money on playoff games than the other games that you have that don't account for a lot. More teams, you get more fan bases engaged. More teams making the playoff means what? More teams are still in the race down the stretch. That's great. For anybody that says this makes the games not matter in the regular season, Frank, I would say that actually makes more games matter because now teams that thought they were out for losing one game have a couple more. They're still in it down the stretch.
64-team playoff. Let's do it.
All right, Mike Leach, calm down. You don't want 64 teams. It's too much at that point. 24 is perfect. Big Ten versus SEC debacle. That's the real battle here. 2 conferences control college football playoff decisions. Their media partners shape their preferences. Big Ten, Fox want 24 teams. SEC, ESPN don't want 24 teams. Why is that, Frank? We've talked about this before. Why does he? Did you think ESPN and the SEC don't want? They want to be like more traditional. Is that why? Is that why they want the 16 teams?
No. It's because they want money, and they don't have the TV contracts.
If you expand more than 16 teams in the contract, ESPN now has to open up the contract for multiple, like college football opens the contract, ESPN doesn't get it anymore. And so if you go more than 16 teams, now any media conglomerate can come in and buy the naming right or buy the rights to the college football playoff. Why would ESPN not want that? Oh, I don't know. I have it right now. If they open it up to more, I might lose some of the assets, or I'm going to have to overpay for media rights. So let's not pretend like the SEC and the ESPN's like holier than thou on the, we want to keep it traditional with 16 teams. We don't want to go too much. We want to make the playoff. Give me a break. Give me a break. Why do you think the Big Ten and Fox, Frank, want 24 teams?
Because they want to bid on the playoff.
Oh, yeah, because Fox wants some of the action. And the only way to do that is to what? Expand more than 16 teams. So what do you think Fox wants 24 teams for? Because they have none of the action. They want some of the action. So this is like the same situation, Frank, that we find ourselves in with the CBA. The owners have their own conversations of things that benefit them. The players have their own that benefit them. And then here you and I, big sports fans, are stuck in the middle looking for whatever the result is that results in the best for my viewing pleasure. In baseball, right now, it's a salary cap. So therefore, people are going to say you favor the owners. In college football right now, whatever it takes to get 24 teams in the college football playoff, and to have every conference champion in, I vote for that, even though I don't have a vote.
I have a solution.
Uh-oh. Is this a legit solution, or
it's far-fetched, but it is a legitimate solution.
If you pose something that's more than a 64-team playoff, so help me God.
No. You want to solve the television rights issue? Have the NCAA make a television network. So this way, no one gets any money. It's just all on the NCAA network now. Congratulations. Y'all play it yourselves. You all lose.
NCAA has their own. You know what? They have all this extra money, right? Don't they have all this extra money because they weren't paying the kids? And
just put all the games on the NCAA network. Done. You all have lost now. Congratulations, ESPN. Congratulations, Fox. You played yourself. And now you get nothing.
You get nothing, sir.
Exactly.
24-team format, that's the most discussed model. 24 teams total. Thank you. Top 8 get first-round buys. Cool. First 2 rounds played on campus. Sounds good. College football playoff bowls host later rounds. It adds 12 extra games, potentially replaces conference title game value. I like that, too. Get rid of the conference championship games. Why do we care? Loss of the conference title game, $150 to $200 million, maybe. I feel like they could still make the money playing in a playoff game. Arguments against the 24-team playoff. I love this because I usually poke holes in it very quickly. Kills regular season urgency. Give me a break. Give me a break. Can't have a 24-team playoff because, these games don't matter they don't matter because you guys have loaded the system where you can be mediocre in the SEC and make the playoff. If you made it just like the conference champions and a couple at large, it wouldn't make a situation where you had 4 lost teams in the playoff. Let's not kid ourselves here. Example scenarios are an 8-4 team would make the playoffs. September games lose meaning. None of those games lose meaning. None of those games lose meaning. In fact, it gives opportunities for schools that probably deserve to do it by making it on the field. More meaningful games throughout the season, I think, for the 2014 playoff. Encourages better non-conference scheduling. I believe that. Expand access, keep more programs relevant. Also, probably a good idea. But if you want to see what this is going at, follow the money. Schools are under financial stress due to NIL deals, coaching salaries, facilities debt. Expansion is viewed as a financial bailout mechanism. Regional scheduling for smaller sports. Other ideas getting discussed. Capping coach and admin salaries. More early season marquee games. Separate playoff for smaller conferences. That's the worst out of the group. Separate playoff for smaller conferences. At that point, you're just getting cut down to a lower level division, and all the money's going to go with it. So, no immediate decision is expected. 12-team format remains for now. Discussions ongoing between conference commissioners, media partners, and external stakeholders. Trend is clear. Momentum is shifting towards the 2014 playoff. I wonder why that's the case. When we come back, I wanted to dive into that a little bit. We went a little bit over, but when we come back, let's talk about Mason Miller and Ramón Laureano specifically. Those are two big names that are helping the Padres win games. We'll discuss next on the Braden Surprenant Show. Standing us over at Sports Station 97 through the Fan. He did it again. This Tyler Reddick guy's ridiculous. Tyler Reddick just won one of the most chaotic NASCAR races of the season at Kansas, and he did it while scraping the wall, dealing with fuel issues, and even getting tangled up with Christopher Bell in overtime. Kyle Larson looked like he had it won on the restart. Denny Hamlin dominated the race with 131 laps led, but late chaos changed everything with a caution, sent the race into overtime. From there, it was pure survival. Larson took the lead. Bell got turned into the wall, and Reddick somehow found speed on the outside lane in the final corners. In a photo finish, Reddick beat Kyle Larson by just 0.118 seconds. That's his 5th win of the season, and now he leads to the championship by over 100 points. The question now is simple. Is NASCAR becoming more about surviving chaos than dominating a race from start to finish? This week in Motorsports delivered everything fans expected: more chaos, strategy, heartbreak, and history-making performance across NASCAR, IndyCar, and even international endurance racing. And we start in NASCAR, Frank, at Kansas Speedway, where Tyler Reddick did it again.
Yeah, son of a gun. He's done it again, and nothing really in his career had led you to believe that he could do something like this, but boy, he is on a run. Reddick delivered one of the most dramatic wins of the season. It wasn't clean, it wasn't simple, but it was championship level execution under pressure. Reddick scraped the wall late, battled fuel system issues, and made contact with Christopher Bell in overtime, and still found a way to beat Kyle Larson, one of the strongest restart drivers in the sport, in a photo finish. The key moment came late when Cody Ware spun and triggered a late caution and sent the race into overtime. From there, chaos took over. Pit strategy, tire choices, and aggressive restarts reshaped everything. Kyle Larson briefly took the lead in overtime. Denny Hamlin looked poised to steal it after leading a race-high 131 laps, and Christopher Bell was in the mix late before getting turned into the wall. But when it mattered most, Tyler Reddick found a surge on the outside lane, powered past Kyle Larson, and won it by just over 1/10 of a second, marking his 5th win of the year. Now one of 4 drivers in the history of NASCAR to win 5 of the first 9 races of the season, alongside Richard Petty, Dale Earnhardt, and Cale Yarborough. And now leads the points by over 100 points, and now leads standing by over 100 points, putting him in rare company historically. Tyler Reddick at this point has now gotten enough of a points lead where he can take the next 2 weeks off and still have the points lead.
Denny Hamlin, meanwhile, walked away frustrated after dominating large portions of the race. Larson again left Kansas just short despite leading laps and controlling stages. The bigger takeaway, though, this season is turning into a showcase of aggressive late race execution. Track position alone isn't enough anymore. It's about surviving chaos and capitalizing in the final 2 laps. Moving to NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, Tyler Gray stole the spotlight with a smart fuel strategy call that helped him secure a win at Kansas in the closing lap. Sheldon Creed finished second, but still walked away with a $100,000 dash for cash bonus, proving consistency is still paying off even when wins slip away.
Yeah, the race also featured early chaos, including a dramatic flip involving Carson Kvapil on lap 2 that immediately reminded everyone how quickly momentum can change in this sport. And in that, in IndyCar, they were up north at Long Beach. Alex Palou continued his dominant early season with a victory at the Long Beach Grand Prix. It wasn't just a win, it was another statement. Palou capitalized on a perfectly timed caution, a faster pit stop from Chip Ganassi Racing, and flawless tire management to pull away from Felix Rosenqvist and Scott Dixon. That marks 3 wins in 5 races for Alex Palou, and he now leads the championship standings with momentum building towards what could be another historic season for a guy who's won the last 3 championships going away.
Finally, in international endurance racing, tragedy struck at Nuremberg during qualifying for the NLS series. Driver Juhan Miettinen was killed in a multi-car crash that also sent several others to the hospital. The session was ultimately suspended, and tributes poured in from across the motorsports world, including Formula One champion Max Verstappen, who called it a reminder of the sport's constant risks and the dangers that these athletes go through.
Yeah, absolutely. And you never want to hear about anything like that. It was about an hour or so long delay. And for those of you who don't know what the Nürburgring is, it's a 14-mile track. And it happened at a far point in the track. So a lot of the track was completely clogged up. Reports were that one car actually went under the barricade and ended up in a ditch that was just outside the racetrack. So it was a dangerous and scary sight. And that track has claimed multiple lives over the course of its time on racing calendars. And again, just a reminder as to how safe these cars are nowadays. Things like this could still happen. And when you're going 200 miles an hour on a very narrow, winding road, it's the danger is very there, no matter how safe the cars are.
Dinger slander in our YouTube chat. In fact, I'm hoping the Padres bring Dinger back with them, back to San Diego. I think Dinger needs to be saved from the Rockies organization for miserable baseball.
I was worried about Dinger there for a minute because you saw what their home run gimmick is, right?
No,
it's the purple jacket.
Oh yeah, Grimace.
It's the purple jacket. I was worried about Dinger.
You know what? I figured out the Mets problem. The Rockies killed Grimace, and now they're parading in him as a jacket, and that has in turn ruined the Mets.
You haven't seen what the actual gimmick already is this year. So Brian Gewirtz was a WWE writer. He's also a noted Met fan.
I'm sorry.
And someone, he had posted on Twitter about a week or so ago, WWE has this new joke character called Danhausen. Very good, very evil. And his thing is, if you don't agree with him or you don't give him what he wants, you are cursed. So Brian Gewirtz said, how much do I need for Danhausen to uncurse the Mets? So Danhausen uncursed them. And then they lost like 3 games in a row. And this year at WrestleMania, he said, well, the reason why is because he didn't get paid yet. So I think he posted a picture on Sunday night of him holding a $20 bill. So maybe the curse of Danhausen has been lifted off the Mets.
Okay. We'll see.
Yep. That's the gimmick this year.
All right.
Danhausen has cursed the Mets.
Find me a picture of Dinger real quick. I want to do something. For some reason, my friend thinks that like Dinger reminds her of a cosmic brownie. Do you know what a cosmic brownie is?
Yeah.
It's like brown. It's like those fake brownies with like the sprinkles on there, but like the hard rock ones, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. She says like the back of his little.
It's not even the back of his head, actually.
Is that his head? His forehead? Would that be his forehead?
No, that's not.
The little thing? What is that thing?
I wouldn't call it his forehead.
What is that thing? He looks like a cosmic brownie right there, I have to say. Does that not look like a cosmic brownie?
It does.
That's exactly what that looks like. I think she's on to something here with Dinger being a cosmic brownie. You know, if it was like purple frosting or something.
Yeah, no, I
pull up a picture
totally
of
see
cosmic
that
brownies
connection.
on YouTube for our YouTube audience. Dinger, the Rockies mascot. Like, I've never seen a Triceratops, obviously, but I don't remember them walking around in Jurassic Park with sprinkles on their head. You know, he just had his hatch day not too long ago.
Yes.
Not a birthday, a hatch day.
Yeah,
happy hatch day to Dinger, the
happy
mascot.
hatch day, Dinger. Yes,
for the Rockies. Dinger is made of cosmic brownie. I'll prove it when I catch him. And when Gonzo does that, he'll fly to the moon for some cheese.
You'll see.
Some Wallace and Gromit stuff with going to the moon. For
I
some
got
cheese.
him. Don't worry.
All right. Compare it with the cosmic brownie.
I'm
telling you,
I'm trying to get the
she might
up.
be
It's not
onto
saving
something
in
here.
there.
Oh, it's not saving StreamYard problems. I think I see it. I see it now.
Yeah.
All right. So there's Dinger.
Go ahead. You do the flip control.
Oh, are you gonna zoom in on anything or?
Well, not homemade recipes. We keep that for the internet. Yeah, that's the cosmic brownie.
There's the cosmic brownie. You could zoom in.
Oh, those
on
are
it.
homemade.
Oh, it's the same deal.
Yeah.
All right.
More
So
or less.
that is the cosmic brownie. That is Dinger. Cosmic brownie. Dinger. I think we might be onto something here. I think, in fact, Dinger might be made of cosmic brownies. We need to bring back the San Diego chicken. I don't know about that. Do we believe like the San Diego chicken's a curse?
See the conspiracy theories that we start here?
That all revolve around mascots? I think she might be out to something with that. I'm full support of Dinger. You know what? I think you got to take Dinger out of his misery and bring him back here. Just saying.
He'll still be miserable, but he'll be miserable in good weather.
Why would he be miserable? We're 15-7.
Well, you haven't won a world championship yet.
Okay, here we go. The Mets.
Well, no, the Rockies haven't. No, that wasn't a Met fan joke. That was just. I mean, I'm going by off what the Doomers say here. as a Doomer maker funner over. There's.
I'm sorry. Did you say? What did you say? Doomer.
As a Doomer maker funner over.
Doomer maker funner over.
He'll still be miserable, but he'll be miserable in good weather.
I think Dinger would have a great time here.
I think he would too.
You know what? I think it'd be great if they just hang out at the zoo. Just walk around the zoo. He'd look better than brown and gold, I think, too.
Even better, hang out with us.
Could you imagine we had a mascot just hanging out? Isn't that what they had? What's the guy's name on McAfee? Is it AJ Hawk? What's that guy's name?
Yes.
That's basically what he does. It would be the same thing. It would just be a 3-screen, but the 3-screen banner.
Could you imagine we turn the camera and there's Dinger sitting here with a rock, just like pretending he's on an iPhone while we're just sitting here talking nonsense.
That'd be hilarious. We're not going to talk about Dinger the rest of the show. We're going to talk about Ramón Laureano. We're going to talk about Mason Miller, and we're going to give you a preview of Padres and Rockies when we come back. Final segment of the show. Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. The NBA playoffs are already chaotic after game one, and we've got a major upset. The Orlando Magic went into Detroit, stunned the Pistons. #1 seed in the East, Cade Cunningham dropped 37, but it wasn't enough. Meanwhile, Celtics destroyed the 76ers by over 30, and the Knicks took control against the Hawks behind Jalen Brunson. Out west, the Thunder looked unstoppable again, blowing out Phoenix, while the Spurs introduced Victor Wembanyama to the playoffs with a 35-point takeover. Nuggets looked like a juggernaut with Nikola Jokic, and the Lakers pulled off a surprise win, even without Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves. But here's the real story. Only one road team won game one. So the question is, are we watching dominance from the top seeds or the beginning of a real shakeup? The NBA playoffs are officially in full swing. And after game one of every series, one thing is already clear. this postseason is going to be unpredictable, which is kind of what we predicted.
Yeah.
Out of 8 game ones, only one road team won, and it wasn't just a win, it was a statement. The Orlando Magic went into Detroit, stunned the number 1 seed, the Detroit Pistons, never trailing in the game. Even with a huge performance from Cade Cunningham, Detroit looked out of sync offensively, and suddenly this series feels a lot closer than expected. The Pistons are still favored, but after game 1, it's no longer a comfortable favorite. It's a fight.
Yeah, no, it's not. And in the East, the Boston Celtics looked exactly like the title contenders that they are in game 1, blowing out the Philadelphia 76ers by over 30 points. Take a look at the final of that game, trying to go through it. It was the 123-91, so a very convincing win for the Boston Celtics. Meanwhile, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown controlled everything, while Philadelphia, without Joel Embiid, just didn't have enough firepower right now. If they don't fix their shooting quickly, this could be a very short series. Meanwhile, at Madison Square Garden, the Knicks took care of business against the Atlanta Hawks behind Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns, 113-106, I believe, was the final there. But don't be fooled. The Hawks are still dangerous, especially with their perimeter. If their perimeter shooting heats up, this series feels competitive, even if game 1 did not show it. And in Cleveland, the Cavaliers look like a team built for a deep run. Donovan Mitchell and James Harden combined to control the tempo in a dominant game 1 win over the Toronto Raptors. Cleveland is now playing with balance, and that makes them more dangerous.
Out west, the gap between contenders and everyone else is already showing. The defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder dismantled the Phoenix Suns in game 1, winning by 35 points to take a 1-0 lead. SGA didn't even need a huge scoring night. This is what dominance looks like. At this point, Oklahoma City looks like a machine. Out west, their next game will be Wednesday at 6:30 Pacific time on ESPN. The biggest story might be San Antonio. San Antonio Spurs and Victor Wembanyama made their playoff arrival felt instantly. 35-point debut, elite shooting, and total control of game 1. This is what a future superstar takeover looks like as the Spurs take a 1-game lead on the Trailblazers. Their next game will be Tuesday at 5 o'clock Pacific time on NBC. In the middle of the West is where things get a little messy. Denver Nuggets look like champions in game 1 behind Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, but the Minnesota Timberwolves are still dangerous if Anthony Edwards gets going. Denver leads that series 1-0. Their next game will be on Monday, 7:30 Pacific time on Peacock and NBC. And the Lakers, no Luka Doncic and no Austin Reeves, but still got a win over the Houston Rockets thanks to Luke Kennard stepping up. Houston is still favored, but if the Lakers go up 2-0, this series flips. Lakers lead it 1-0. That next game will be Tuesday, 7:30 Pacific time on Peacock and NBC. But the big picture takeaway, the first games told us 2 things. The elite teams, Oklahoma City, Boston, Denver, San Antonio, they all look real. The middle tier, well, it's wide open, unpredictable, and 1 injury away from absolute chaos. And that's what makes this postseason different. It's not just about talent anymore. It's about timing of the playoffs. And we'll see how the NBA playoffs continue. We'll get you an update next week. 140. Final segment of the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Padres and Rockies, 5:40 tonight on 97.3 The Fan. Eco Water SoCal Padres pregame show at 4:40. And we got Gwen and Chris coming up next. It's going to give you everything you need to know about Padres and Rockies. We're going to get you a preview of that in just a second. We do want to talk about why Ramón Laureano has been so good so far this season. Kevin Acee dove into that conversation of the weekend in Anaheim. We'll get to that in just a little bit, but we do want to get to your phone calls, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to Thomas in Alpine. Thomas, what's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going today, bud?
I'm doing well. What do you got for us today?
Well, I don't know if this is accurate. I don't know the stats or anything, but the Padres seem to be consistently beating the Rockies now, and it's all because Charlie Blackmon retired. You remember that guy?
Oh, I definitely remember Charlie Blackmon. Yeah, that's a fact. I think Thomas brings up a pretty good point. I think we got maybe some stats to prove that. When did Charlie Blackmon officially retire?
He retired in 2024. 2024 was his last year.
Interesting. You know what the Padres at the end of 2024 started to win. You want to know why? Charlie Blackmon probably started to stop playing.
Oh, God. Now I got to calculator this because this website's being stupid. Hold on.
Oh, boy. Frank doing math on the radio. What did we say about doing math on the radio?
I'm not doing math on the radio. I'm using a calculator.
That's doing math.
No, it's having
the computer do the math for you?
Exactly.
Okay. Carry the one.
Shut up, man.
Padres at the end of 2024 actually beat the Rockies 3 out of 5 times the year he retired. Since Charlie Blackmon has retired, the Padres are now 14-3 against the Rockies. When was Charlie Blackmon's first year?
2011. I'm doing it right now.
Oh, like
they had 126 wins. The Rockies did 126.
Okay.
I'm mathing. Hold on.
So he's doing the math on that. I honestly I think Thomas brings up a good point.
The Rockies were 126 and 117 with Charlie Blackmon.
And now they're 3-14 again, without him against the Pods.
That's incredible.
That
126 and 117.
I gotta see the Padres, Padres splits against the Rockies with and without Charlie Blackmon.
That's unbelievable.
It's great.
126 and 117 with the Rockies were with Charlie Blackmon against the Padres.
That is definitely part of the John Boy stats that exist but don't matter.
Yeah,
that's 100% for sure. 100% stats that exist but do not matter. Charlie Blackmon versus the Padres. It's a guaranteed win tonight, then. Absolutely. Head to head. So the Padres last year, they had 3 losses to the Rockies. 2 of them were in Colorado, and 1 of them was here. Padres last year, in their games against Colorado, they had a 3-game series in May in which they took 2 out of 3, and then they had a 3-game series in September in which they took 2 out of 3. They lost 1 game 9-3 and lost the game 3-0. Losing a game 3-0 at Coors Field's kind of crazy. Getting shut out at Coors Field
that's a little bit crazier.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy. That is super crazy.
No, Gonzo, he's not. You just said his name and now you summoned him. He's not Joe Hendry. It's Charlie. It's different.
Well, it's good that the Padres finally got over that Colorado hump, if you will. I think they have only won the season series against Colorado a handful of times since 2010. They lost in 2010, the season series. They split in 2011. They won in 2012, so they're 1-1-1. Lost in 2013, lost in 2014. Won in 2015. Lost in 16, lost in 17, lost in 18, lost in 19. Finally won in 2020. Lost in 2021, lost in 2022. Beat him in 2023, lost in 2024. They beat him in 2025 and currently winning in 2026. That is more losses, season series losses to the Rockies since 2010 than wins. That's where you make the playoffs too, is beating the Colorado Rockies. Padres went 10-3 against Colorado last year. They're out to a 4-0 start. The Rockies, by the way, have gotten better. They split with the Dodgers in the last series. Why is that significant? Well, the Rockies in one weekend in 2026 equaled their win total against the Dodgers in 2025. That would be 2. So they're on the way up a little bit with that particular sake. Let's get to Ramón Laureano real quick, and then we're going to talk about the Padres and Rockies tonight. Have the Rockies finally decided who's going to pitch to start today's game, or are they waiting for somebody to buy it on tick picks?
Congratulations. Jimmy Herget is going to start against the Padres
again?
For the 5th time this year already.
Again? Is Chase Dollander coming in after?
I do not know. I would have to assume, but they have not announced starters for tomorrow or Thursday yet.
They're going with Herget again?
Mm-hmm. Jimmy Herget's opening.
What is it taking them so long to put this out too?
Because, dude, they got to figure out ways to get Dalton Rushing mad again. If it worked.
So the Padres have played the Rockies 4 times, and they're 4-0. And so far this year, in 3 of the games, they have faced Jimmy Herget, correct? Or is he pitching all 4 games? No,
Herget was
pitched
the
in 3.
Herget was the opener in game 1.
And in game 4.
After Kyle Freeland had an injury and he couldn't go. So that wasn't planned for him. But I believe,
he still gets the start, though. They still count
I know.
Start.
No, I know. Yeah. I'm just saying that was the circumstance behind why he started that game also. And I think he pitched the second game of that series too.
He pitched the third game.
Okay.
So he pitched the first game, the third game, and the 4th game of the series. He went an inning in all of them. So that's why it's not totally crazy. So far in 3 innings against the Pods, he has let's see what he's got officially, as my screen kind of goes dark multiple times. In three innings against the Padres, all 3 games. By the way, the Padres are 3-0 against them, of course. He has given up 1 earned run on 2 hits with a walk in 3 innings. ERA is 3. His fielding independent pitching is 5.13. Take that for what it's worth. I'd be more worried about Chase Dollander anyway, but I feel like they're going to pitch that guy's arm off. He pitched twice against the Padres. I know one of them was probably unscheduled, but still. Jimmy Herget. Are we going to see him 2 more times this week? Why don't they just do that? Like with bullpen arm? Why don't you just have the guy start the game every game for try to get a most games started in a season stat?
You ain't going to win anything else. You may as well create a trophy and win it.
You can hang that in the rock pile. Center field. Put that as the banner in the rock pile in center field when nobody's watching the game. That's not good.
At that point, the game's over anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Empty netter.
No, it wasn't empty netter.
I know it was an empty netter.
They made it look like it.
Yeah. I don't know what the goalie was doing, but he definitely wasn't defending the goal. Anyway.
There's one job you have as a goaltender. It is tend the goal. And he was not doing it.
I love saying that for catchers. The position's called catcher, not chaser.
Yeah,
So go catch the ball.
Yeah, that's a big one from Toronto Maple Leafs influencer Steve Dangle. Said, "You are a goaltender. Tend the goal."
Tend the goal.
When he's taught, when goaltenders lose the puck behind the net or try to play it in the corner and mess up, so if you are a goaltender, tend the goal.
Padres 15-7, once again right behind the Dodgers in the NL West. It's early, but they're getting a lot of offensive production out of some guys. Ramón Laureano is one of them. And since arriving from Baltimore, and we'll talk about Mason Miller tomorrow, but Ramón Laureano leads Padres hitters in home runs, average, OPS, and WRC plus since becoming a Padre. 2026 so far, 273 average going into the weekend, 4 home runs, multiple multi-hit games since moving to the leadoff spot. And the real story for him has been his approach. Unchanged approach regardless of lineup spot. Manager Craig Stammen's biggest point, other hitters slump when moved to leadoff. Laureano did not, which is a massive flip. And the lineup has been volatile at times. And he's the one guy that's not pressing, not chasing rule changes, not riding emotional swings. He's also seen a massive defensive turnaround. In 2025, he had -9 outs above average. It's negative. It's not good. And this year, he's +2 on the outs above average, which is an elite turnaround for Ramón Laureano. He's playing shallower in left field, daily tracking work with outfield coach David Macias, and it really emphasizes the defense, which has also been the outfield identity, but also the identity of this team, because in the last 11 games, the Padres have not committed an error. And when you have Fernando, who is a Platinum Glove winner, and you have Jackson Merrill, who has robbed multiple home runs in the week, and now you add Ramón Laureano, you have an elite outfield defensively. You have 2 former shortstops out there who have elite instincts and anticipation, and there's been 8 combined home run robberies since Laureano joined the team. That's insane. Did you know that stat?
I did not know.
Run prevention through athleticism and instincts. Oh, maybe moving shortstop to the outfield isn't that bad of an idea, especially defensively. In terms of his intangibles, he's got that edge. We knew he had that edge because when we went down there on the first day he was here, he was no nonsense in the scrum. Absolutely no nonsense. Players describe him as a gamer, edge attitude guy in the clubhouse, but he's not just producing at the plate. I mean, he's bringing that identity and edge to this team. That being said, we haven't gotten a lineup out yet, right? I haven't seen one.
I haven't looked. So.
I still kind of want to see what Jackson Merrill's got in a leadoff spot based on the numbers we looked at today. I still think that's going to be something to look for in the future. I mean, Ramon's done really well. The Rockies have a lineup out. That'd be a fun game. Name the players in the Rockies lineup. Julian, Moniak, Goodman, Rumfield, Johnston, Tovar, Karros, Beck, and Doyle is the starting 9 for the Rockies. Padres still putting out a lineup. I'm sure Gwen and Chris will have that for you in just a little bit. Overall thoughts for this week. Padres, anytime you can take 2 out of 3 from Colorado on the road, I think it's a win for the Padres because I think it's very difficult for them to win there, even though they've had success there. They took 2 series, 2 out of 3. Last year, it'd be nice to rack up some wins again. Play the schedule favorably because if you look at the upcoming schedule for the Padres, once you get to May, it starts to change a little bit. So it's never about who you play. It's when you play them. Now's a good time for the Padres to rack up wins, and hopefully they take care of business tonight against Colorado. But I think this is going to be the series, Frank, that gets the offense right. I think it is. I think this is going to be the series that builds some confidence. You see the long ball. You see balls hit the gap. I think the slug's going to improve. If it doesn't, we'll see how they do it in Mexico City. But these next 5 games, I think, is really important for offensive confidence.
And zero gravity the next 5 games.
Yeah, playing on the moon and playing on Mars. Coming up next, Gwen and Chris. Padres baseball at 5:40. Ecowater SoCal Padres pregame show at 4:40. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego #1 Sports Station, 97 through the Fan.